Hey, I have a question. Hello.
Ask your question.
Do you guys think the software industry is in a bubble? It's going to soon burst.
We don't think here. Any other questions?
So
No more questions.
when
Thank
you
you.
say software industry, what do you like? What are you in like?
I
That's a
mean, like this big techs like Amazon, Google, and shit.
no. I don't think it's a bubble. I think what you're seeing right now though is the
All right,
harsh effects of
stupid
bad.
question. I kicked him out. I'm so
Good-
sad
good
that you
call.
guys missed my beautiful intro. It
I
was
think
so
I think we heard
warm
it
and heartfelt.
about thankful for setting up audio and stuff. We heard it.
Oh, perfect. All right then.
I'm thankful for all the veterans who serve for this nation and the wonderful deals that they provide for us, such as the free red, white, and blue pancakes provided at IHOP, or the free mini Grand Slam that you could get at Denny's on Veterans Day. Very wonderful meals deserved by those who have given much for their nations.
I'm thankful for the kick button. Where is it?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
fucking
there.
dying over here.
Strike me down, and I shall become only stronger than I was before.
But also quieter.
Oh, I'm thankful for all the big developments and personal character and growth and learning. And oh, hey, journalist, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What are you thankful for this year?
Oh boy.
Thankful.
Ladies and gentlemen, the journalist.
Well, I wouldn't celebrate anything this year. Everything is fucked up. So, and hell is coming. I don't know why you guys are happy and thankful for this year and the next and whatever. Hell is coming. You will never ever catch up with.
Stop being such a Debbie Downer journalist.
Ignorance is bliss, dude.
So I'm just curious, journalist, you have some insight that I don't. So kill my optimism. Go ahead. Go.
Just check your portfolio. Even billionaires or the top market players are down like 60-70%. So it's over. It's fucking over. Hell is coming.
On a day-by-day basis, it's okay because it's green today.
This is
2 days in a row I walk in and journalists is just going off.
This is the result of central banks' policies. So it's over. Just enjoy.
I mean, love or hate him, he speaks the truth.
Definitely hate.
So I just want to ask another genuine question. So maybe I should rephrase the question because I didn't quite get what I was looking for. Can you give me some examples besides the obvious headlines that are posted on CNBC and the likes around the world, including Financial Times, since we're talking international here? Examples where hell is breaking loose.
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You're the expert, right?
Do you own a property in house?
No, I do not. I actually live on a train.
And you will never ever. Okay. So
yeah, we own properties. What's up?
yeah, well, I would say minority in this group would own a property. You either inherited from your parents, or maybe you were just lucky. Went to a casino and made some good money.
Was
But
that supposed to be? Was that supposed to
What
be
makes you
by
say
being
that?
a minority and owning a house and being lucky? The fuck does that even mean?
yeah, that's the thing. Yesterday I think Hardy just gave me the answer. You are not the proper audience. You won't relate automatically central bank.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. That's maybe all the time journalist has today.
Get him out of here.
Getting
So,
back to stock markets.
Actually,
I have a play.
opinion. Actually,
I do have a play.
opinion. I
I
have
do have a
just.
play today.
I just want to.
My play is going to be American Airlines. That's right. You heard American Airlines. I feel like they're going to go down. LUV. The question is, are they going to continue going down? That is the question of the day because they have another 20,000 canceled flights in New York. So looking forward to playing the downside. I just wonder if it's priced in. That's the question of the day.
Is it gonna be a soft landing?
soft
or a
landing.
rough
Have you
one.
ever flown Southwest? There's never a soft landing.
I have.
That was a little
I
tongue-in-cheek joke.
I flew to Tulum through Southwest, and it wasn't bad as opposed to like Delta.
Yeah, Delta's. I agree with you. I'll be honest with you. Even though Southwest is having issues with canceling flights, I personally have never had an issue flying Southwest. And after I've finished flying Southwest, there's usually $100 voucher waiting for me in my email toward my next flight.
How'd you manage that?
I'll be honest with you, they just fucking sent it to me.
Was it Hardy yesterday who was saying the issue isn't so much that they're canceling, it's that they're not reimbursing people or compensating them. They're just kind of being like, sucks to
Yeah,
suck and leaving.
that's the issue, is that they're not yeah, absolutely. They're actually not like giving like a secondary flight or like a backup flight. They're just like, well, good luck. And that's the issue. Like, you can't just take people's money, cancel the flight, and then not give them a backup flight. Even if the backup flight is a week from now, you still have to set them up with a backup flight. So I do think, as Ayat said, I think the stock is going to continue to go down today, especially with that, especially with those 20,000 flights that have been canceled up in New York, and especially around New Year's. That's a huge fucking issue. The question about it being priced in, that's really the question, right? How volatile of a move are we going to see today? I can't speak to that.
On the ones that were canceled, if they tried to book a new flight on the app, you also were being charged the difference, and the difference was pretty high.
Yeah.
Ooh, sounds like bad news all day long for Southwest Airlines. So that's LUV, if you don't know. LUV is the ticker for Southwest Airlines. Question is whether or not we'll go down. Delta Airlines, DAL, AAL for American Airlines, UAL is United Airlines, and likes go on and on and on. Curious what you guys think about finances, cars. What do you guys want to talk about? Any good plays?
So, mind you, I'm relatively new to everything. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, and feel free to call me out on anything. But one stock I've seen is Armada Acquisitions. It looks like it's maintaining a pretty strong uptrend. It's ticker Alpha Alpha Charlie India. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know why it'd be good or bad, if you would, please.
Is that a SPAC since it's got acquisitions in the name?
Will you say that again?
Is it a SPAC? Because it's got acquisitions in the name. Usually those are SPACs when they're named like that. I'll go look at it, but is it a SPAC just before I look?
I'm not gonna lie.
Is someone practicing a single note on a cello, or are you on a plane or something?
Yeah. Rad,
is it coming through poorly?
Rad is on an AC 130 at 60,000 feet. That's the engine you hear.
Before we move on to this acquisitions company, I'm looking for entry on LUV Southwest. I think this is a black swan. So I'm watching today to see if they go down to about 30. And then I'm planning on a Jade Lizard, which is where I'm going to sell the put and the call at the money, and then buy an out of the money call, which should give me green anywhere to the upside, but maximum profit if it stays right in that like 30 to 35 range. Thank you.
Did you say that was a J Lizard sell a call at the money call, sell at the money put, and then buy a call? Is that what you said?
Yep. So the out of money call, long call, basically secures the upside. So it's a call credit spread, and then a short put, and basically it's a bullish insurance. So if it stays in the 30 to 35 range, should give me like max profit. Because I think they've come down and it's going to take a while to recover. This is February monthlies. But if it does shoot back up, I should still get green, just not max profit. And so all it's really doing is ensuring that so long as they don't go down too far below, I think about 28.5 would be the break even on that. It stays profitable. So if it does shoot back up because everyone's just like, well, weather happens, then it's still minimally profitable. But yeah, so it kind of works like a butterfly, except with green to the upside.
Huh. The Jade Lizard. You heard it here, folks.
I got a couple plays. Good morning, fellas. Just something to watch out for. You know how I do. Just get my money. But I'll give you what I have for the day, my friends.
I fucking love this guy.
Keep an
Also,
eye
real
on.
fast. Armada is a SPAC from what I understand. It's got a relatively decent market cap, 20.8 million, and relatively low volume for what it is. It's only got 5.236 thousand.
So I got 2.8 million.
Here you go, boys. Listen up. LJAQ. Keep an eye on that. I've been playing that for a couple of days. KALA. Keep an eye on her. She's a little hot pants. What else I got for you? I posted a couple in the chat. I'm still playing TRKA up and down. I'm also playing COSM. I ran up about 20K on that, and I'm still in and out right at this level. I think I'm trying to get out at 550. I bought in at 425 yesterday at 2,000 shares, just something slight. I think that's it. I'll let you know if I see anything else in the next couple moments.
Are you playing options on these, or are you buying
Nah,
shares?
man, there ain't no options. These are some dirty bitches. We just get in and out and go home, baby. Cash out. You just got to get the bag.
Kala, the stock that he's talking about, Kala, KALA.
Yeah, he's been nice to me. Ooh.
I bought about 300 shares of that yesterday and sold it at the end of market day and made it.
In and out, boys. Don't hold no bags, man. I'm still holding the negative $50,000 bag of AMC, so don't beat me up. But in between now and then, every time that bitch go green, I'm selling it, moving it, and just keeping it moving. We're here for plays. We're not here to be on nobody's board. We don't give a shit about these companies. The market's gonna shit on us, but we can always eat. Have a blessed day, fellas.
All right. Well, that was from Motivation
Hallelujah.
Speaker 1-2. I just want to let you guys know COSM is Cosmos Health Inc. Currently trading at $4.56, opening a bid of $4.67 and ask of $4.70. Kala Pharmaceuticals was at $12, now opening up about $17 pre-market. The LAJQ, I couldn't find that one, so I'm not sure about that. And then TRLK, I couldn't find that either.
Hold on one second, I got you. TRKA. It's a media group. It's bullshit. Like I've been buying at like 12 and getting out at 15 cents, but you buy 20,000 shares. I mean, that's good money, bro. It's slow as shit. So you got to set your sell and just wait. Like I set my sell and just leave it alone and just go make my other plays, do what the fuck I do. But between 12 and 15, you can get some money. TRKA. And the other one, let me get that back.
So TRKA, I just want everyone to know that is a shit penny stock. So
it is. It's a pump and dump. I'm not telling you.
Get
Listen,
your pump and dump
there
shitty
you
stock.
go.
Go ahead.
This is
but I
all.
do not recommend that
It's all
stock.
about getting a bag, man. I don't give a shit about these companies. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Just giving some plays, making it fun. And the last one, let me find that. LJ, what the fuck is she at?
Sorry about that.
LJAQ.
I know you want to come in, so go ahead.
You got it.
How did you do on Southwest?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
How did you do on your Southwest position? I think you mentioned it on Wednesday.
I didn't do shit with it, honestly. I got kind of tentative and I was all over the place. So I never jumped in, to be real with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing, looking at Southwest today, I'm seeing that it's trending high to start the market. My prediction is that it's gonna dip right at market open. I think it's just gonna plummet like down to baseline, and then it'll start to do that little bob and weave that you see a lot of times when things are struggling. So yeah, purchase accordingly.
What's the ticker on that?
LUV Southwest.
Yeah. So when did they announce cancellations for today as well? I heard about that only late yesterday, but I could have been late to the news. Like, did they announce that like sort of after hours yesterday?
I personally was watching it last week, like Wednesday, Thursday, but I can't comment on that. I will throw another one out there, fellas, real quick. HOTH. Keep an eye on that. I don't know what the fuck it's gonna do, but it's all over the place. I may or may not jump in it. Again, just get your money and get out before the end of the day, boys.
Not sure if anybody mentioned it, but Tesla is up like 6%. I'm holding massive bags, so it feels good to at least let a couple of them off. I'm still down like 20% after being up fucking like 1,000%.
Just keep going, brother. Just keep plugging
Actually,
away.
I picked up 115 strike calls expiring tomorrow on Tesla. So it's gonna be a nice little payday.
Nice. Way to go, man. 0 DTE.
What'd you strike
Yeah,
at?
baby. 115 expiring the 30th tomorrow.
Nice. Well, for your sake, I hope that they keep going up.
I mean, I definitely overpaid. I mean, it closed out. I mean, I was down on them. I mean, I paid $2.95 a pop for them, but obviously it paid off. I'll probably sell half at open and then just kind of let the others ride.
So I don't have a ton of information because I am rather new as well. I know someone mentioned they were new earlier. I've made about 2 options trades, both unsuccessful. Still learning the hard way. But my guess is that SPY is going to continue to be choppy today. It's been choppy the past few days, and it's looking like it's going to trend the same.
Regarding SPY, if my indicators are right, pre-market, it's getting ready to go down some. Only one of my indicators are showing that. The other one's not really populated yet.
Probably going to play it on SPX, but so the equivalent would be 374. Looking for a put credit spread. Watching out what the market's doing today, but technicals are showing that that's a resistance level. So we saw it tested. What's today? Thursday. So Tuesday's session. Watching out for it.
I don't know if I gave y'all NU. Give me 1 second, boys. NUWE. I made a couple little dollars on that on the other day. Keep an eye on it. It's volatile as a motherfucker, but you get in around. I think I got in around 11 and a quarter, and I got out around $13. I did like 800 shares. Just boom, boom, boom.
You got any plays, bro, that you haven't made yet that are still fresh to where, we can get in with you early?
Nah, man, this is like on the fly. You know what I mean? Like if I see it, I get it. Once the group's over, I'm just watching and scanning. I'll get up at 4 o'clock every morning, man. This shit real life. 4 to 7. I trade about 5 different shifts. That's from 7 to 9. I get my money. I don't get no money till about 10:30 to about 11:30. You can get some money. Let the market cool off till about 2 o'clock, depending on how shit popping. But from 2 to 3. About 3 to 3:30, and then you're gonna chill till the market closes, and then I can trade from 4 to 8. So, just get it and get out.
How's your ape doing?
Man, I have so much fucking ape because of the split and all that shit. But the ape that I bought, I think I spent like $4,000 on some ape at $1.40, and I got out at $1.80 and just made the cut. I think I made $700 and just kept it moving. So, but I'm still holding like 4,000 shares. And let me see. I'll be real with you. Hold on. Let me look at my portfolio. So I don't give a fuck.
All right, while we're waiting for that, ladies and gentlemen, do you think Tesla's going to go up or down today? We got some people
I think
asking
it's going to
Tesla
go up
build a
and
trap.
keep going up. I've been watching it.
Let Spoiler said, call that Tesla bounce at 110. I got receipts. Good job. And yeah, NVIDIA, what do you guys think?
I'm a Tesla holder. I think it's going back down.
I'm not sure how far down, but I think it's going to go down pretty well right now.
But I'll tell you right now, the bid is 119.62 and the highest ask is 119.71. So you got like 12 cents in between. If the volume don't move, we just gonna play ping pong. But it'll be a slow rise. So maybe like we'll end the day at like 125. So we'll see. Let's see what the shorts do.
I think it's going to go up because of futures are showing that it's going up because of the jobless claims.
In the words of the greatest, it could go up or it could go down.
NASDAQ took a huge
Fundamental
jump
news
throughout
about
the week.
Tesla. You guys know.
Go ahead, Tesla guy.
Come in.
Who's the Tesla guy?
Is Elon in the chat?
I was
Yeah,
just asking if you guys
My bad. I
have
guess you're
any
talking to me.
fundamental news about that.
Fundamental news on Tesla is it's even at $100, a 32 PE ratio, so it's all an option trader's game, man.
I've been reading that the price of used Teslas is crashing pretty hard.
Yeah, especially in the
that
winter
is also
months.
true.
But remember, Tesla's a solar company, so don't get caught up in the bullshit.
He hasn't tweeted
Yeah,
anything
and
this
if you guys
morning.
were asking me, I don't know shit really about Tesla. I just bought shares when they did the split the second time, and
I've been in Tesla for fucking years. I told y'all I made
yeah,
the
it's
stupid
been what, a
mistake
year
on.
or so.
Yeah,
Well, you
Tesla.
know
I
who
mean,
would be great to ask about Tesla? Journalist. What are your thoughts on Tesla?
Oh, Jesus.
Again.
Opinion.
I think
Goddamn.
whoever is trying to build right now a position, I am going to advise everyone here in the room that today and tomorrow you start adding, like, let's say small amounts of shares. Okay. Regarding Tesla, I think it's still overvalued, and now you're seeing the repricing of every single asset, including the hyped one, the very much protected by fanboys of Elon Musk. So I'm glad that this is coming down. If you really want to kind of bet on the EV sector, then play a smart game, like go and buy Neo or Xpeng. It's amazingly undervalued. So why would you buy Tesla at 100 something PE when you have a very low PE ratio on two companies that are going to eat the fucking biggest market in the world, Asia? Okay, that's on one side. On the other side, and I'm gonna just I'm sorry, I will have to leave you guys in 30 seconds because I'm a very busy guy. I would like opinion to maybe come tomorrow on the stage, have 3 minutes, because I think there are very interesting opportunities to get into the airline industry without basically making mistakes. We learned from Warren Buffett that airlines are not investable on the long term, but I do have two very specific plays that always works. Okay, in
Just
the
share them
airline.
real quick.
Fucking
Journalist, share 'em real
Sam,
quick.
man.
Share them real quick, please.
No. Tomorrow. I'm doing my due
Eat a
diligence.
dick. Get out the
all right,
stage.
so I have a
So
question for everybody here.
I want to
Why
ask
buy
about
fucking Tesla when
TSLs.
they don't pay dividends and hold Tesla or just play the game? That's my question. Like it's always a talk about holding these stocks. Man, that shit don't really make you no fucking money if they're not paying you no dividend. I'm just saying, I'm not good at options. I lost on that Lucid CCID shit fucking last year, whenever that shit was, that merger. Man, I lost 40,000 in that shit the first time I did options. So I'm scared of that whole situation. So I'm
Yeah,
just
so,
I'll tell you
asking.
what. I made a ton of money
Buying
on Tesla,
Berkshire
and I
Hathaway,
Hey, one at a time. One at a time.
yeah.
buying Berkshire Hathaway years ago never made you any money. Right.
Okay, so I made a ton of money on Tesla because it's all about the options game. I've never owned a share, thank God. But it's really the best part about Tesla is that the markets are tight and it flows like water. So you can actually get filled. It's a super, super volatile stock. And the premium is super expanded because everybody wants a piece of it. That's the best part about Tesla, and also why I never want to own a share of it.
See, and I fully agree with you totally about the volatility. And I own the shares to get in and out. And I lost on holding the shares. I just need a real class on understanding options. I understand the definitions, I understand the terms, but I don't understand how to get in and out properly. So, but we agree. I feel you. Tesla is definitely a way to make some money.
All right.
So-
Well, we've got I think 2 or 3 sessions with Hardy in the comments on the YouTube for options stuff. Learning how to
I
do
might have to
options.
do some homework. I appreciate it, fellas. Yes, I'll look into that.
Okay.
Hey, I got a play. I jumped in after hours yesterday.
All right, wait. Notes just before you hop into that play. Journalist, I know you're very, very busy, guys. You've said quite a few times. Do you want to quickly give us just the 2 tickers and nothing but the 2 tickers for the airlines that you're going to talk about tomorrow, so we can do some reading on them ahead of time?
I think he's disconnected.
Gas
Oh,
on the fire.
No, he's here. Hold on, guys. No one talk.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you 1 out of 2, right? Let's keep.
Let's go. Just fucking pick them up, bro.
Who put this
So
music on?
number 1,
Guys.
number 1, my people, is Ryanair. Okay, and the
What
second
the
one.
fuck?
What?
Ryanair, dude. Come on, really, dude. Really?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Who this man?
What's the second one?
All right, and the second one, journalist. What's the second one, buddy?
The second is for tomorrow. That's a gem. That's a gem. That's diamond.
It better be
That's
ready.
for
It better be
tomorrow.
better than Ryanair. Like seriously, I've been doing DD
It
on
is. It
airlines.
is better. It is better.
I
Actually,
hope
it's not. It's not an airline, but it's a company that has a monopoly on the service airline service industry, right? So that will come tomorrow. Take care, my people.
Now my penny candy looks like Lorena Bobbitt.
All right. Thank you very much, journalist. And back to you, Notes. I think you were talking about a play.
I think if journalists had a voice change, I could
Back to Notes.
tolerate
Back to
it.
Notes.
I have a question.
Back to Notes.
Hey, I was
Back to
watching
Notes.
this. Hey, I was watching this play QTNT. They an analyst upgraded it to a strong buy with like a low price target of like $60, and it's moving pretty hard. So I jumped in on QTNT. I'm just gonna play that pump today, kind of like Kayla yesterday, and then get out probably before the close of market. But QTNT, I speculate, is gonna pump today off of that. Analysts upgrading it to a strong buy with a price target of $60 for
Is this a quotient LTD? Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, who had the question?
No question, but a statement. Whoever played the Jeopardy music for the people wearing headphones, we hate you.
Now I have a question with TSLS. It's like a inverse, I believe, texture. I'm not sure. You could look up the I was trying to understand it. Hopefully somebody might have some knowledge on it.
It's a short Tesla. It's a single stock ETF that goes up when Tesla goes down.
Yeah, so do you recommend this puts on, what's the difference of puts on Tesla and the puts on this?
If you buy a put, you're expecting the price to go down.
I mean, not buy
so-
a put. I know, I mean that, but I mean like as far as if I buy a put on Tesla and then I buy one of those.
So, well, one of them is going to make money and the other one's not.
But it seems like they both pay out when Tesla goes down. That's why I was wondering if it
No,
was
a call on TSLS would pay out if Tesla goes down because it goes up when Tesla goes down and it goes down when Tesla goes up. At least that is what they're trying to do, and they're doing that with other options plays. So sometimes it doesn't directly correlate.
Okay. Yeah, I stick with the Tesla puts. All right, thank you.
So the other thing I've been looking at today is NASDAQ has been eating shit all week, but they're up 1% in pre-market. So I'm looking at weeklies for next week, and believe it or not, a call debit spread, which is a rare thing for me this year. But I think we're going to see a potential bounce in QQQ. And this is just at the money, probably whatever tomorrow morning open is.
Another
Yeah,
inverse
I believe
Tesla,
it also that
TSL.
QQQ is gonna bounce.
I have a play for JP Morgan. The ticker for that is JPW or JPM. January 13th, put 128. And I think it might go lower as well. Since they're getting sued by the Virgin Islands for hosting Epstein or facilitating Epstein, sorry.
So,
Okay.
Financials is one of the big places that the market rotates to for safety during a recession. Do you think that all of the market investing in banks is going to be stronger than the court case of the Virgin Islands suing them?
No, I think, well, one of the reasons for the put as well is because their earnings are on the 14th.
So if a bunch of investors are moving into banks because it's a safe bet during a recession, you think their stock price is going to go down?
I think as a temporary, short-term play, it may go down.
All right.
I would just add on the fact that JP Morgan is one of the strongest banks in the world. I say W with the world. So just keep that in mind when you're playing that stock. Not trying to delegate your play. I do think they have room to go down to the 110, even down all the way to 106 to fill some gaps. We could argue that the 110 would be the strongest one, but I don't feel like that's a quick gap down. If you want to look at gap plays, I'm assuming that's where you're getting this number because it's kind of just random. No offense, it's at 132. I would suggest looking at how far it takes for them to fill those gaps, and you'll see it takes them quite some months. I would also listen to what Sleepy Nate said in regards to people rushing to financials for a safety net.
If you want to see the sector chart, XLF will show you what big money is doing as far as banks go.
So is anyone starting to feel bullish on tech right now? Seeing that the people always talk about the earning contractions, but I don't think it's going to be that much, right? Because everybody's been hammering on tech stocks for the past month or so, and it's lost quite a lot. QQQ has lost quite a lot. Like I said, I believe the Nasdaq, QQQ, and all the big tech are going to bounce. What do you guys think about that?
I actually just recently went and took a look, and the best performing tech stock in the entirety of 2022 was motherfucking IBM. And so I've got a 145 call for, I don't know, sometime in spring. But they're, you don't get fired for buying IBM. That's been a phrase for 50 years. So.
Yeah, personally, I've not invested in IBM yet, but yeah, thanks for the insight.
I'm not buying them yet, but it sparks my interest to see like a Microsoft down 30% on the year. We know there's a real company there and a legit company, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of just like we're seeing a lot of these drivers for the S&P and for the Nasdaq that just got super overinflated by free money that are coming down to levels where they're actually pretty good buys potentially, but because they're market drivers, they're supermarket correlated, and so like we're seeing Amazon's almost $80, like maybe maybe a really good price. But at the same time, if there's a huge market capitulation, you might be able to pick it up for 40. And that's the real kicker for anyone who's looking to go bullish anytime soon.
Personally, I'd rather sit cash and wait to see what happens and be ready to get them if they do, like Nate said, go down more. But again, like they're at much better values.
Yes, definitely. And I think one of the big, uh, it's kind of trendy, but one of the niches in tech that I see having a lot of momentum, especially in the next year in 2023, is what's also around cybersecurity. So I'm thinking of names like CrowdStrike, Okta, and Palo Alto Networks. Might look into buy calls, long leaps on these companies, especially I think for CrowdStrike, which is still EPS negative right now, but I'm thinking that in 2023 they will have a good year. So it's a good catalyst in the years to come.
Welcome back, Slut Spoiler.
Good morning. I was wondering when somebody was going to mention that this unemployment boost pop was going to be a good entry to get into more puts, or if anybody thinks that the market today is going to start turning around to the upside continuously, because I don't think it will.
I think we'll get a slight little bounce. I don't think it's gonna go parabolic or anything. But I definitely, I mean, if you zoom out, I mean, you're looking at a downturn market overall. So, I mean, long term, I think we're still seeing a lot of downside.
I don't think that's a big enough catalyst to actually move the market. I just think it's going to be flat until next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's exactly what I think too. I think today we should start looking for stocks that bounced hard and outside of their normal volatility, and then buy puts on them.
A reminder that till next year is today and tomorrow, just for anyone who's.
Going off the end of the year, is this also a big time for China? Isn't there New Year some like right now as well?
It's
So
the
like,
Chinese New Year, yeah.
yeah, don't we typically see some high volume days during the Chinese New Year? I recall that from historical years.
I don't know what to think about China. Like I just reading yesterday about the whole COVID outbreak. So take that.
Yeah, I've been talking to some friends of mine. They're not infectious disease doctors, but they are doctors, and they've confirmed that like China's infections, like number of infections, is incredibly high, and that their Omicron variant that they have there is the most infectious disease in human history, more infectious than measles.
Well, just because they're a dentist doesn't mean they're a doctor.
No, I mean these are like medical doctors, not dentists. I just said there are doctors that specialize in infectious diseases, like that work for the CDC, that like study epidemiology. They're not epidemiologists; they're doctors, right? But they are saying that the spread is pretty pronounced, and apparently this Sinovac doesn't work. This vaccine that they supposedly have, it's not effective. So they keep raising these lockdowns. They have a spread of COVID. We acted the same way here in America. I know, like after I got vaccinated, my mask was off, and I don't think I put one on again after I got vaccinated. They're acting the same way. The difference is their vaccinations aren't actually working, and so it's causing some problems.
Is the vaccination, the people who make the vaccine, are they publicly traded?
Now, Sinovac was made by the Chinese Communist Party, and it's one of the reasons they cannot admit that it failed.
Yikes.
Didn't they allow Pfizer in too? Or Moderna, one of them?
They have allowed Pfizer in for expats living in China only. That was news that broke 3 weeks ago. So if you are a foreign citizen living in China, you can now get the Pfizer vaccine. But it's opened the door a crack, right? And maybe Pfizer will eventually get the contract to vaccinate 1 billion Chinese people, and their stock will go parabolic. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No, yeah, I agree with Scald on that. It's that's a pretty big gamble, right? Like, is the Chinese Communist government going to let a capitalist company in to help vaccinate their people? Although he's correct, if they do get that contract, I would want to be holding at least 500 shares of Pfizer.
I have a feeling that they're not going to be able to meet demand on that anyway. But yeah, I agree.
So we're still on Omicron then. So that's the latest one.
I believe so. That's the latest one that we have to deal with here in the States. Speaking of COVID, the sell-off on Moderna continues to happen. So I would project probably a little bit more of a drop today. Might be good to do some 0 DTE puts on that at your discretion, of course.
Didn't the CEO sell all of his shares and then just go dark, like escape to some island nation?
Yeah, wouldn't you?
I thought that was McAfee.
Well, it's just I should have gotten in on the short side. I mean, Jesus, if you ever needed any kind of bearish news,
yeah,
that's it.
CEO sells 600 million shares and flies to Bermuda.
Exactly.
Sam Bankman.
Bullet.
Oh,
I mean, it's
throwback.
especially dark given that he was giving a vaccine to a plague that was spreading throughout the world. Him isolating on an island, really bad look, right? The optics not so great.
That's almost as bad as the optics of journalists talking about minorities.
Oh, you know what? Something that he said earlier. He said that Tesla's PE. Whoa. Tesla's PE was like in the hundreds. It has come all the way down to 33. So I know that he's like a value guy, and that's great. But 33 isn't outside of the range for Tesla at all.
Yeah, but like I hate to like be on his side for anything, but I think when he was talking about minority homeowners, I think he was talking about the minority of people who are homeowners. So like how majority of people rent, but he's talking about the specific set of people who actually own their home.
With all due respect, he lives in London, and he's from I forgot what country. So those aren't Spain. Yeah, I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, great! So he's from two countries where
I won't. Well, he's living in 2 different countries, and as someone who is American living in Japan, I would not be the first to say like I know about America house ownership as an American. So I find it quite baffling that he can comment on such a thing as if he has some understanding of the metrics that take place there.
All right, so talking about things we can actually profit off of, I'm kind of bullish on Brazil right now.
Yes,
it's
Petrobras, my friend.
only based on technicals. I know nothing about what's going on in Brazil, but I'm looking at a short strangle Brazil, probably 25 or 26 put, and like 32-ish on the call side. I'd like to get a $1.10 on that if you want to turn it into a condor for defined risk. Go as wide as you want.
I got about 450 shares of Petrobras, PBR, not to be confused with Pabst Blue Ribbon. Although if you're buying this, I would suggest you crack open a Pabst Blue Ribbon while you do it. It is pretty steady, and their dividend is damn near 60% for the year. So even if you get in for one dividend cycle, you're going to make a nice little chunk. But I think that it's going to continue to move up in this market because
PBR's been outperforming. I'm kind of impressed.
Brazilian oil is kind of on the rise. It's kind of the new unspoken thing. They invested something like damn near $2.2 billion in offshore oil rigs through this company.
Isn't the government involved in that company as well, which is part of the reason that it's super I don't know, doing better?
Yup. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
That's what I thought.
anytime that the CEO doesn't perform well, they hack him out and they put a new one in. So any downtrend that's going to happen isn't going to last long because the government has a play on it.
They gift him a Brazilian necktie, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a government-owned oil company. They just don't have a hand in it. The government runs it.
What's the ticker for this?
Well, my play was EWZ, but now we're talking about PBR.
Yeah.
Papa
So
Bravo
PWZ,
Romeo.
yeah, PWZ and PBR.
EWZ.
Sorry, EWZ and PBR, and I would not be surprised if the two of them work in tandem.
The EWZ owns a bunch of PBR because how many Brazilian stocks are there really?
I'm not an oil guy per se, but is there any software related plays that we can play on this? Obviously, they're setting up drilling mechanisms and whatnot. Is there any software or any physical product that one can invest in?
I was reading something. God damn, how long ago is this? I was reading something. It was. Hold on. Continue talking. I'll come back with the ticker and everything.
Oh, and the answer, there's 438 Brazilian stocks, 512 if you count Class Bs.
That are trading in Brazil or on U.S. exchanges?
Neither. That's just bullshit. You just try to sound convincing.
No, I was just wondering if there was any plays that we can play on this PBR, like software or anything that's related to these hubs that are pumping oil out.
I'm sure. I was reading about RIG, Transocean. The ticker is RIG. I don't know how many off-site oil rigs PBR is using that is RIG. I don't even know if RIG has precedent over those. I'd have to look into that. But they have new technology incorporated into their drilling that can like essentially. I know Hardy knows a little bit more about this than me, but they have a technology now that can precisely drill to like it's something like a 64th of an inch of where it needs to go.
I don't know about 1/64th, but I do know that it's capable of changing the size of the aperture through which oil passes. So theoretically, as you drill into a pocket of oil that's under pressure, you can make it, let's say, a 1-inch diameter, hypothetical number, to a 10-inch diameter, whatever the size of the borehole is, to control the flow of oil being retrieved without losing any. I know the Saudi oil company has this now for their primary wells. I don't know if they've expanded it to the entirety of their fields. But I do want to point out that RIG is pretty close to Gamma Max, so it's possible there'll be a rejection off of Gamma Max or a stronger one than yesterday. And PBR has been fairly consistently rejected have fairly consistently been rejecting delta neutral. So a similar play could be had there in the very short term.
But yeah, I should restate that I am long on PBR. I would not be doing any short plays with them. The only kind of thing that I'm really doing with them is I've dumped a good amount of money into their stock and I'm holding it for their dividend ratio and for the long term.
Okay. I also want to point out that unemployment claims came out as expected. So those of you who were long SPY 0 DTEs at the money at market close should be sitting on a tidy profit this morning.
earlier we were mentioning Apple and its correlation with SPY. Looking at the fall from yesterday, we've got significantly increased IV, looking for volatility contraction between now and February as everyone comes back online after vacation. So I'm looking at a 120 put credit spread. And worst case scenario, I get assigned and I own some Apple stock.
Earlier, someone was talking about a Jade. I'm going to change the subject. Sorry, I don't mean to. Earlier,
That's
someone was
okay. It
talking.
was me talking about Jade Lizard.
Yeah, you were. You sell a put, you sell a call, then you buy out the money call. I thought you were bearish on.
No. I think Southwest is approaching as far down as it's going to go with the Black Swan event. So I think they're going to go back into the range that they were at, up in the 35 to 40. So I think I'm looking for around a 30 LUV to sell that Jade Lizard.
And what
You're
was the
selling a $30 put against Southwest?
So sell the $30 call and put, and then buy an out of the money call to secure the upside. Yep, that's the play. Looking to get about, I don't know, $2 in premium for that.
And what was the airline that had canceled 20,000 flights?
That was Southwest.
Southwest. LUV.
It was also Southwest.
Ticker is Love Ultraviolet.
Yeah, and so the play there is that they had a one-time event that is unpredictable. They botched it, and I'm predicting that they will only go so low in their stock price, and I'm essentially selling insurance back to the market that they won't go any lower, and hoping that the stock goes back up between now and February.
And I'm sorry, but when was this announced? This 20,000 flight cancellation?
It was
Over
last
the
weekend.
storms. Over all the storms that happened.
And if I may caution you, don't spend all your money on Southwest, because remember, tomorrow, journalist is bringing us his DD on Ryanair. So save your money.
That's a good point.
Is journalist
Southwest
allowed
earnings.
to speak again? Hilarious.
Before we go there, Southwest has earnings coming out, I believe, on the 27th, and expectations are for, let's see, 81 cents per share. So if
I should add, because this is like 40, 50 days out, I'm planning to be out of this by January monthly's close.
Okay, so right before earnings.
Yep.
Cool. So the current estimate for Southwest earnings is 81 cents a share, which year over year represents, what is that, a 500% increase in earnings? So if you think that's what's going to happen, despite this hiccup, then buy 0 DTE or as close to 0 DTE calls at earnings, otherwise puts. And we'll see how IV changes in the run up to earnings over the next roughly 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, the good news about the Jade Lizard is if IV remains high and it remains essentially in the cone that you would get out of a butterfly, then the contract pricing will stay high. And so there's a potential hold till after earnings where you're gonna see that drop, at which point the value of that combination will shoot up into the cone that it makes. This is all, you got to do this with visuals. Sorry. Anyways, that's my play with Love.
So, question about Love. Hold on, I'm switching screens. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool. So from what I've saw, I did a price line, and it hasn't hit the price that it's recently dipped to since May of 2020, and it's hit that price point once before that. before that, it was like in the 1900s when it was never even at that price. So do you think it's going to dip to the $30 mark price line, or think it's going to go beyond that? What's your thoughts?
I think we said that the resistance is at that $30 price point.
I think you mean support.
Yeah, the support. So I don't think that I think that it might hit that, but I don't think that it'll break through that.
In order for it to break through that, I would imagine the Department of Transportation would have to levy a massive fine that wasn't expected. And maybe a class action lawsuit was filed that actually went to trial without settling. So, like, that's the level of catalyst required to really push below $30 a share.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Hardy on this. Like, in order for it to break through a support like that, you need a major news story.
You need additional bad news.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Speaking of bad news, what do you guys think about puts on Meta? Report came out that the VR headset sales for 2022 weren't quite what they were expected to be. And then Yahoo had a story about Google and Meta losing their dominance in the $300 billion advertising market. They're losing that to Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. So possibly puts on Meta? Question
I
mark?
wouldn't go that far. Meta, for those of you who advertise on Facebook and Instagram, the compliance rules have relaxed dramatically. Part of which I suspect is because Meta laid off a good chunk of their compliance team. And so they're letting more gray ads run in order to maintain their revenue. So I'm short-term bullish on Meta, at least going into January, February, unless more layoffs are on the horizon, which is what's expected across the board. In
9:30.
which case I'd be medium-term bullish.
Surprised. Two separate people said Meta 3 times, and Simple Vice hasn't shown up yet.
Holy shit. QTNT just had a 5 million buy.
Well. Speak of the devil.
9:30.
Ding.
Oh my God, he did show up.
Welcome, Simple.
Has
Jason
Zuckerberg announced his like tele-prostitution virtual world yet? Because then I'll be bullish on Meta.
Would that give you a chance to
Yeah,
spoil
but
some
you are
sluts?
invited.
Yeah, it would. Why do you sound like you are like listening to like the THX intro?
Just go with it.
Market's
like
open.
A fan in your background.
I've been waiting for the beat for the bass to drop on Rad's feed now for a while.
Oddly quiet. Should I bring back journalist?
No need.
Do I do?
Wait. Look, if you guys
But
need
it just
space
did.
filled, I'm happy to fill the space. I know I
If
don't
you
have
need,
any.
Well, I did want
here's
to
some
ask.
plays to consider. Natural gas storage for November comes out at 10:30 this morning. So if lower than expected, calls on boil. If higher than expected, calls on cold.
10:30, what time zone?
Eastern. And then at 11 Eastern, crude oil inventories will be announced. If lower than expected, if it's lower than expected, oil demand is higher and therefore bullish. If higher than expected, bearish, at least for oil stocks. So probably puts on USO or something along those lines. Also, it appears Tesla is falling off a cliff again for those who are actively trading.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going down to 50 based on the PED. I mean, we've had several. I had several conversations with you guys. You guys made it, pretty clear. Tesla's done, right? I mean,
I wouldn't go that far. but
Does
the
Hardy?
retard buying strength. Yeah, go ahead, Monster.
Could I ask your professional opinion on this? So I've been in a lot of different conversations with less articulate, less more emotional people. Is there a possibility that Tesla would sell, that the board and that Elon would see that would be in their best interest?
Sell what?
Sell the company, that they would sell the company to something like GM or one of the other major automobile manufacturers who would just incorporate Tesla as a brand.
It's a public company, so the other auto manufacturers would have to buy. I assume you mean Tesla Motors, that arm of the Tesla incorporated company.
Right.
And unlikely, mainly because very few of the other automotive companies have enough cash or enough treasury stock to justify the purchase, considering how much larger Tesla is versus them.
Right. So I mean that in sense of, Tesla is falling off a cliff. It's been falling off a cliff. And I know, where do you expect resistance?
Let's go over this, right? So GM, right? GM market cap is currently 46 billion. If we look at their balance sheet, their year-end cash for 2021 is $20 billion. So hypothetically, if they were to do an all-cash deal, the most extreme all-cash deal they could do is 20 billion. So going with that number, Tesla is currently trading at 370 billion. Let's say automotive makes up 80% of their business, right?
86.
Okay, fine. 86% of the business. So 373 billion times 0.86 means a $320 billion acquisition. Now, at $20 billion divided by 0.86, that means a market cap of 23 billion approximately. So in order for Tesla to be at $23 billion market cap, it would need to be on the order of $4 a share, I think, if it's because there are 3.16 billion shares outstanding for Tesla. So that's how low Tesla would need to fall in order for it to be reasonably attractive to the likes of GM if they were to buy in cash only the Tesla Motors business. Does that make sense?
Yes, that made a lot of sense. Thank you very much.
And then repeat the exercise for your favorite auto manufacturer.
Understood. Yeah, thank you.
Artie, let me ask you this. If I own a business and it stays overvalued for like year over year, do I want it to come down in value?
The only reason why you'd want it to come down in value is so that you can acquire more ownership, because you know it'll go back up later.
Fair enough.
But we can preclude that because Elon has continued to sell and there's no signs of insider buying.
Yeah, and I would recommend that.
Well, somebody mentioned the other day that Elon has options that he earned as a result of his performance. He's got some options that he can exercise at $70 a share. So
is that post-split? Post-split?
I wasn't the one who came up with this or found this out. I can't remember who the person was that mentioned it, but it's been mentioned in two different talks that essentially it's to his, like what he's done as far as the Twitter acquisition. It's going to make Twitter seem like a free. He acquired Twitter for nothing essentially, because he's going to get all those shares back that he sold for Twitter, and he's getting them back at $70 a share. So that's all I know.
Well, he's paying $70 a share to acquire, right? When he exercises those options.
Like I said, I'm not sure what the specifics are. I wish the person that found this out would be on here, but I can't remember who it was.
Understood, and that's fine, and that's a potential thesis. Although I have trouble believing that his last year's corporate, not salary, but I guess total compensation is $44 billion. I believe the article was like 2.1 or whatever when I read people were last up in arms about it. So
well, I think with the
consider.
Well, I think based on when he sold his shares that he sold at in order to acquire Twitter, the value of those were 44 billion, but the
He
quantity
netted
of
20 billion in a year from
but the
selling his shares.
but the quantity of shares that he's getting back at $70 a share, it's the same quantity of shares. So, assumably, if the price went from 70 back up to 220 or whatever it was that he sold at, then the value of those shares would be the same. But the quantity of share, the number of shares that he's getting, is the same as the number of, similar to the number of shares that he sold, from what I understood
Okay.
from the person's conversation.
Yeah. Plus, it wouldn't need to be $44 billion worth because he's not or he's yeah, he has a lot of investors. I forget what his percentage is, but the Saudi guy didn't get bought out, and then he accepted. I would say he's maybe out 14, 15 billion, maybe.
Also, I do want to point out that Musk, when he acquired Twitter, did not use only his capital. Other investors were willing to buy in alongside Musk. So while it's true the acquisition price was effectively 44 billion, we don't necessarily know how much of that 44 billion was Musk's personal capital.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
my question.
Well,
Did Binance
Andreessen
bought a few
Horowitz and
billion?
Larry Ellison went in. The word is that they went in for several billion each. So, at least there's those two guys also involved in it.
What do you think? You think they regret it?
Well, they've
We'll
also got
find out. Things might be a little tricky at the what's it called? The yacht show in Monaco next year. Or it might get uncomfortable at the Grand Prix or wherever billionaires hang out nowadays.
Fist fight?
Oh, actually, no. It's probably uncomfortable at the World Cup. I'm pretty sure they were all there.
And it wouldn't be a fist fight. That's where they slap each other with a white glove. They say, "Good day, sir."
Yeah,
I say, "Good day."
They have their champions fight for each other. Anyway,
Speaking of,
someone asked in the comments how I calculate gamma neutral and delta max. The first is to go to my website, options.hardyrection.com. I do include a primer below the chart if you scroll down, explaining what everything is. But to a very brief explanation for those listening, delta neutral is the price where a hypothetical portfolio of the current ticker's option open interest produces a portfolio delta of 0. And gamma max is the price where that same hypothetical portfolio of options open interest produces the highest portfolio gamma. The importance of the levels, the levels themselves aren't really as important. What's more important is the price reaction to those levels. And for some stocks, especially those with relatively heavy options activity, there is a consistent and predictable pattern against which trades can be made. And that's where the plays come from. So hopefully, Crazy 8R377, that answers your question.
Hardy,
Another
while you
question.
were on vacation, did you go completely on vacation, or did you sit down with some people at the bar and say, "All right, look here, fam, go to harderection.com do you did you stay on vacation mode, or did you give out your hard direction tips on the cruise?"
No one talked stocks on the cruise. Everyone was asking when was lobster night, or what show is on, or like what port are we at next. So I'd be chilling on the Lido deck with no erection in like a shaded stroller, sipping on whatever the drink of the day was,
plus cruise
and
service really shitty.
watching people do stupid shit.
Hey Hardy, speaking of your site, do you post your plays on your site? If so,
I
like
don't. I've
okay.
been meaning to like set up a way to get plays posted daily. So like a new page is generated automatically and posted there, and then a subset posted to WallStreetBets. But there's a lot of, how do I put this? There's a lot of interconnection and gluing from a programming perspective I still need to figure out.
Roger.
Sounds like some Razor pages there, Hardy.
What do you mean Razor pages?
Just sounds like some shit that I've been exploring with this new C# 5.6 technology. It just works well for specifically what you're.
Oh, you're doing ASP.NET, it sounds like. I work in Python.
Yeah.
For those, if anyone here is a front-end developer or similar, what's your opinion on Astro or Astro.js or Astro Build? I've been looking into that as a static site generator so that I can tie the output of the plays into that, so a new page is generated and uploaded to a CDN, so that every day at like 6:30ish, when the new data drops for gamma max and delta neutral, the plays would also drop. 6:30 p.m. that is. In opinion, we can probably discuss like where the line is for self-promotion and such.
Actually, I haven't heard of Astro.
Yeah.
What the-
Also, opinion. When do you want me to start live streaming these? Let me know, buddy, because I just got my Reddit microphone shipped to my house this morning.
Don't get your hopes up. The mics aren't that great that Reddit sent us.
Are you
Okay,
still
good.
streaming?
Well, I've got the hoodie too, which that's pretty sweet.
I think they're pretty cool though because they got the little Reddit symbol on it. That's pretty dope.
The package thieves were nigh this year, so mine got repurposed by one of them.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Bro, this
It does.
QT&T I think might go. Why is it average volume like 800,000, and then now it's at like 10 million volume? Does anyone have a level 2 order? What's it look like?
I have an order book. What's up?
The ticker's QTNT. Its normal volume is like 800,000 volume, and it's like it did 10 million volume already, but it did 3 million during pre-market, and it's been having a lot of volume in pre-market and after hours, and I feel like people are repositioning themselves based on what I'm looking at in the chart. Analysts upgraded it to a strong buy, so it's kind of going crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm standing aside on QTNT personally. The market cap is 1.5 million ish.
Right.
And like if I were to buy with my standard, I might move the market too hard and get stuck holding the bag.
So Quiver Quantitative, which is a website that I kind of like, it came out with a report that I think they use an AI bot that scrapes the daily discussion here at Wall Street Bets, and they said that we are at record levels of fear versus on their fear to greed index.
Yeah, I don't put much thought into those things that don't explain their process. You don't know, for example, if they're using the Vader model to identify sentiment.
Yeah, they probably are. Like don't put too much whatever,
Unless they explain their process, like I don't put much faith into those kind of websites.
Well, I'm scared.
I kind of feel bad for those sports
Quantitative-
pirates. Or go ahead.
Is Quiver Quantitative the guys that also publish an hourly report? Is that that
I
website?
don't know. I don't know. I very loosely follow
So
them.
you what? Okay, I'll just look it up.
Speaking of the wrong packages and things like that, yesterday I had someone else's package. It was a PS5 delivered to my work.
In your name?
No, unfortunately.
Wait, that's the wrong answer.
Well, we were really thinking about it. But then the FedEx guy come back and was like, "Oh, hey, I gave y'all the wrong package." So we were like, "Oh,
yeah."
What package? What are you talking about? That's you've never been here before. I've never.
Yeah, exactly. The correct answer.
It's
Legally,
the first time you're here today.
Yeah, postal law says that if something is delivered to you, well, I guess this is not addressed to you.
I'm pretty sure
It's not
whatever you're about
postal.
to say is still true.
It's not under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Postal Inspector General. So theoretically, if you refuse, FedEx could come and sue you for theft.
Well, even so, it was addressed to the place I work at, not me or anyone there directly. So it was addressed to a company, which is the package we were expecting. The PS5 was addressed to like someone that lived like 2 minutes away.
Oh, it appears our favorite reporter says nobody is following me. Yo, bro, you said you had 900 followers, right? Yeah, I
No, he
got like
said 390. You give him too much credit.
You're
he
talking about
only has
journalists?
390 followers. Oh, fuck it, then he's too small to matter.
Yeah, yeah. He said 390 that day. I'm almost positive.
Wasn't he bragging about
Um,
like 394 people like DMing him or
I'm
something?
gonna go ahead and say it, man. Fuck that guy.
He's clearly listening because he commented 6 minutes ago. What's
Hey,
up, bro? Sorry I
know,
missed you this morning.
yeah, you need spice to make a good dish. So don't hate.
Yeah,
the
but
player.
there's such a thing as too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not here. So
You need friction to make fire.
You guys want to really get him and be an asshole? Why don't you ship him one of those shitty Reddit microphones?
Careful, he might think he's special because he got a Reddit microphone. Let's face it.
Don't be
fewer
dropping
people
those.
receive the Reddit microphone than follow him.
He already falls into the special
That's
category.
big true, dog. Big true.
Yeah, those
I'm
are limited
convinced.
edition mics, man. Respect the limited edition, son.
Anytime somebody is so ardently, enthusiastically supporting some perspective, I always want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, not just the benefit of the doubt, but I want to continue to help unravel it. It's like talking to an alcoholic who doesn't realize they're an alcoholic. They say, I don't have a problem with alcohol. And like, oh, all right, well, that's cool. And anyways, what are you drinking right now? They're like, oh man, I've got this great beer. I just got it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And didn't I see you on the weekend? Were you drinking on the weekend? Yeah. I was like, but I thought you didn't drink. Well, I don't drink anymore. I just realized alcohol's a problem, but there's not a problem. I mean, I've literally had these conversations with people who are addicted to substances.
I feel like I've had this conversation too.
Yeah, in a similar way, you
Probably
can
on
have
the different side.
Yeah, you can have these conversations with people who have ideas, where their ideas are. I mean, don't assume that they're engaging maliciously. Assume that they are presenting themselves and their ideas enthusiastically, and then try to the extent that they can behave in a in a way that is conducive to conversation through this medium. Try to unravel that, try to follow that thread to get back to to a greater understanding for everyone of why do you think the way that you think, so that we can understand what value that actually provides to the discourse, but come at it from the assumption that everyone has value to add to the discourse.
I mean, that's a lot of intellectual effort, or I could just talk to somebody like Hardy who's actually smart and explain.
Yeah, this is a whole lot of effort.
I'm just like, hey, Hardy, and Hardy's like, here it is, and here's the math, and I'm like, thanks, I believe in math, like it normally works,
I'm just saying that this is a lot of effort for you guys to get trolled by Luce with a voice changer.
Yeah, that's probably true.
You guys are going to hate, but tomorrow we're going to be rich from Ryanair doing journalists as DD. So haters going to hate, but we're rich.
I mean, like, honestly, and I'm not even joking, I have never heard of Ryanair. And I've
I've never heard of them. A few years back, they stirred up a bunch of controversy because they started making people over a certain weight buy additional seats. And
I remember this.
They're the Spirit Airlines of Europe.
Yeah, they are the Spirit Airlines of Europe.
I'm just saying, y'all are setting yourselves up, and you play the universe, right? But you keep making fun of this dude, and he's going to pop off and make 6,000% on some play that we're not paying attention to.
That is how the market works.
I'm not dogging him at all. I'm not dogging him. I'm
This
actually
guy-
very excited to learn.
Who is this guy?
I find that highly unlikely.
What is this guy's
but-
username?
Even broken clocks are right twice a day. So
there you go.
Journalist.
Not
Or-
for 1,000%.
But-
He's a 5% guy all year long.
It only takes once, man.
But speaking of Europe, hey Hardy, you were talking about the liquid natural gas reserve report coming out for January. Is this
That's
Europe?
only in the U.S.
Oh,
and it's
God.
not necessarily liquid natural gas; it's natural gas storage. So it won't reflect the bomb cyclone that happened last week, but you can approximate the stores if they're below expectation, minus the effect of the bomb cyclone. You can then expect large demand for natural gas going forward, at least in the short term. And by
Didn't the
oil
U.S. also
for-
commit to doubling? We're sending a bunch more to UK and Europe.
Entirely possible, but my point is, if the reserves as of the end of November are below expectations, net, then that means you have the amount going to Europe plus the amount that was consumed in excess of expectation because of the bomb cyclone after that number, which
I got
means
you. Okay.
does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you.
I'm about this play.
I was hoping it was more about
Also,
Europe.
Ramiro, I am definitely board shorts over Speedo. I turn heads away if I'm in the Speedo.
I have a play on ET. I bought a whole bunch of ET contracts, energy transfer ahead of the storm, expiring February and into January. So we'll see if these print.
Wait, did you say ET?
Yeah, energy transfer.
Isn't that like that one's like 26? I think it's 26 cents a share on dividends. Isn't that a what are they called? Not hedge fund, but long-term investment.
Yeah, I mean that's where I know about it from. But also, if you look historically at its performance, when large winter storms hit, and in the 2 months that follow, basically like the 30 to 60 day period that follows a major winter storm, you'll see a fairly predictable movement in the stock price. Hoping that happens again. We'll see. I'll let you guys know what happens.
So you're talking about like the current storm up in the north, right?
Yeah, the one that already happened. So I mean,
I heard New York had to shut down some freeway that I know someone who knew someone that lives in New York that basically said they never do that. So it must have been pretty bad.
here with wind chill, it was negative 33 degrees in Ohio, which is pretty rough.
And I'm in Georgia, and we got snow, and we don't get snow that much.
That's where I'm at with it. Is I'm in
What part
Knoxville.
of Georgia are you in, Clay?
Northwest.
How far northwest? I'm in Woodstock, and there's no
Woodstock. I'm in Adairsville. It's like right next to Cartersville. It's in between Cartersville and Rome.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. Nice area, very nice area. Adairsville's very nice. Cartersville's pretty nice. Adairsville's nicer. I love it out there. That's good, clean country. But y'all got snow?
Yeah. Rome got the most. Cartersville barely got any.
We froze in Knoxville, and we got about 2 inches of snow. That's not very normal, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is Tennessee in general tends to not have snow and not have ice, and so when you see it, there's a lot of people that got cold.
So yeah, so the play is the natural gas storage that Hardy was mentioning, considering the grand solar minimum, right?
I don't know if there's really a BD play here. If it's U.S. storage, it's the European storage is the where the plays are at. A lot of shifting sands there.
Do those actual solar cycles like actually affect energy output for solar? I mean, aren't they mostly just working on visible light?
No, I didn't mean from the solar perspective. I meant, you expect global temperatures to be reduced for an extended period of time, something like years. So where
right, I gotcha.
So the market is ripping up right now, right? It's looking all green across the board. Is this just a short covering or something like that before it heads down, or?
Yeah, bro, QTNT, bro, they're like 60 cents. This shit's going crazy.
I think this is just a reaction on employment numbers, right?
Good shit notes.
Isn't that what it do, right?
So
hit, so market go up.
was yesterday the last day to settle tax losses? In other words, does tax loss harvesting go for the day settled, which would mean you would have had to do it yesterday because it would clear on Friday, or the day sold? Because if it's day settled, then it could just be yesterday was a bunch of tax loss harvesting that's now done.
Theories? Anyone have a good thesis for how the market ripping up right now is coherent? It's a continuum of the extreme.
Yeah, I heard
that you expect.
I heard a thesis that right now, like these last couple of days, the Chinese market makers in people with money like to take advantage of the fact that a lot of the big traders or big market makers are on vacation right now. So the thesis I was reading was like a lot of these penny stocks or whatnot sometimes see high volatility this week because China kind of like rapes our stock market because it's kind of like everyone's on vacation or something. And
Because China doesn't take vacations.
yeah, they don't take vacations. Yeah.
And that was Romeo Alpha Papa Echo, our stock market.
Yep. That's confirmed.
Ouch. So what is the first quarter of 2023? Is it going to be red, or is the recession canceled?
Dude, recession is canceled.
I don't think it's going to stop until the rate hikes stop
Well,
increasing.
hey, I got a question. Where's that guy? I was in here last week or 2 weeks ago, and first and foremost, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to people smarter than myself. But there was someone in here who was arguing pretty vehemently with me about the housing market, and I would like to continue that conversation. I think Open Doors speculated to go bankrupt.
What is Open Door? Is
Open
this a
Door
traded company?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me get the ticker for you.
It's like Zillow, but it's a spec.
I wasn't arguing with anyone about the housing market, but there was a large home builder that said that new home sales or new applications for new home constructions are way down, and a lot of people that they had sold new homes to are canceling their contracts.
Yes, yeah. All of the news that is every metric that exists to measure the housing market is showing that it's going to correct. It's going to correct massively. But I think it was Loose Ventures or something. He had like a Asian. No offense to any Asians. I have nothing but respect. You guys are clearly more intelligent than I am. But anyways, he was very, very aggressive in arguing with me that the housing market is not going to crash. But regardless of that, Open Door, OPEN, Oscar Papa, Echo November, it's already pretty. I mean, it's pretty low right now. So I don't know that there's a lot of room left to profit off of its bankruptcy. And I don't even know how you would plan on capitalizing on a company's bankruptcy. But most of the real estate commentators that I follow, and I am very interested in the real estate markets. It involves my profession as well as my interest in owning a home. But they are all pretty much jerking each other off, and congratulations for having called this massive crash. And the West Coast, it's terrible. I mean, there's real serious harm being done on the West Coast, and it's making its way across the continental United States towards the East Coast. But my understanding,
people are leaving the West Coast.
Right, they are. But my understanding is that regardless of migration.
Well, Florida's actually paying cops $5,000 to leave their state right now and move to Florida. But, yeah, there's a huge push getting people out of California, New York.
I mean, as for the Californians, good for them. The stock prices or the housing prices there are just insane. Like, good for them.
Cowards. One of the stocks, one of the tickers you might want to look into is, and I've had this on my watch list for a while. Tango Mike Hotel Charlie, Taylor Morrison Home Construction, and they do residential home building, and they have not dropped significantly at all throughout this entire saga here that we've entered into. But I do from just fundamentals alone, they should totally be crashing. They're southwest, mostly located home builders, residential.
Yeah, so is that puts?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. Hardy,
there's like, okay, but we gotta, sorry. I'd like to, just for communication's sake, we got to make the distinction between a housing crash and then a construction of new houses slowdown.
Right. Well, my understanding right now is that because of the housing boom, or because of the massive interest it was, sellers had a tremendous advantage. So companies were doing, home builders were doing everything they could to start new construction. And now there's going to be now they're doing everything they can to incentivize someone to come and buy their home, because the numbers that they've used to, green light a lot of this construction, those numbers aren't good. Those are changing very rapidly. And all that it's going to take is for the Fed to pivot. And when it does, there could be a very, very serious, very severe change in the housing market. I'm already seeing it, to the small extent that I am plugged into the market and with my limited knowledge and information. But I would expect, that all home builders, anyone who is building homes to sell, is going to experience serious economic hardship. And I don't know.
Yeah, but what about what about the cost of materials drastically declining, like cost of wood and everything? Like,
yeah, but I mean, they've already purchased the materials for the homes that they're finishing, so that's beside the point. I mean, right now, if you want to look at what point in time you saw the decrease in the cost of materials and also in logistically transporting those materials are not the ones that were going to have been used in the construction that is completing and coming onto the market right now. So it's I don't want to simplify it too much and say too little too late, but my expectation would be that, well, hey, that's going to be great. And so, that's going to increase competition for people who didn't over leverage themselves because of this housing boom. So that's even more, that could be theoretically more downward pressure.
I don't think there's many companies that didn't over leverage themselves. There were far too many people trying to buy houses.
What was that? What was that, WOTG?
There were far too many people trying to buy houses. I think they all over leveraged themselves.
Yeah. Yes, there were.
People who bought a house like 8 months ago are underwater.
Yes. Anyone who bought a house,
I made a good purchase.
Even if they bought a fixed rate.
But I wanted to talk really quick. I just wanted to get
equity.
I just wanted to get some numbers or a definition of Fed pivot. When you say Fed pivot, but
so right. So right
does
now,
that mean? Wait, hold on. Does that mean that they are going to stop raising rates, or are they going to actively be decreasing interest rates?
Whatever they do.
What's pivot mean?
Yeah. Sure. I understand the question, and I don't want to act like I know more than I do. So what I mean to say is that Jerome Powell, to my knowledge, has been one of the most honest and consistently acts in concordance with his words. So when he says, we're going to continue to raise, we don't see the pain that we need to see for us to pivot, for us to change our policy on quantitative easing versus quantitative tightening, he does it. Very consistently. And so when he turns around and says, okay, we've got the unemployment that we want, we see the pain that we want, we're going to go ahead and we're going to change economic conditions. When he says that, when he does that, and I would expect that, like all things, it's going to be scaled to the, appropriately. But yeah, when the Fed says, okay, we're not.
Sorry, bro. My attention span is like not.
Okay. I think when the Federal Reserve stops raising the interest rates, then you're going to see the housing market correct viciously, because lenders are going to respond accordingly and they're going to lower their interest rates. And then you have to think about what are the economic conditions that encourage the Federal Reserve, to the extent that this isn't just a fucking game, to continue to lower the federal funds rate. And I think that they will. Of course, those are the macroeconomic conversations that I'd like to have. But I think, the housing market is going to correct. I think it's going to crash. I think it already is officially crashing, depending on how you want to define it. And I know Luce got very upset and very angry about, you look it up yourself. I'm not going to fucking tell you the definition. Well, according to several definitions, it is absolutely crashing on the West Coast. I think Nevada is in a very bad place. But I wonder, you buy puts on home builders because they're going to go through it. But I wonder if Hardy, I don't know if you're here, but do you know anything? If you look at a company and say that company's going to zero, do you just buy puts and ride them to zero?
Problem with buying puts is your expectation is the price of the company will accelerate going down faster than the market expects. And for companies going to zero, that's rarely the case. So no.
Is there any way that you could try to generate profit from the companies going to zero? Just you're making a bet that, hey, you're going to zero. You're not going to pull this out. You're not going to restructure. You're not going to exist as a business entity when this is over.
Company unwindings and delistings take a long time, beyond which any put options could be exercised. Your best bet would be to try to go to buy a put that expires just before the delisting event and make sure that you're in the money by the time delisting occurs.
Okay.
Because trying to exercise an option on OTC is exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, I think that helps. I think I will stay away from. I'll stay away from Open Door because I think they've gone about as low as they're gonna. I think they're gonna. It's gonna be a very slow ride down to 2-0 to, like you said, where they decide, hey, we're gonna completely unwind, liquidate the assets.
If you need an example, look at NAD spec.
NAD spec?
No. Look at any, as in like all variants of D-SPACs, or companies which were once SPACs that have since merged with their target companies and closed the deal.
This is off topic. Can I ask a stupid question real quick? When sending an email through Outlook, can you, as you send the email, send a event schedule or like make a calendar for everyone, like invite for everyone in the email? And I can't figure out where it is.
But
Yeah.
But that's probably something you should Google.
Yeah.
And I used Outlook 2019.
Hold on, I'll try to Google it for him.
No.
You can take night classes at the annex.
I'm gonna admit, listen, I did not expect the Outlook question, bro. Like anything. If you had said like my girlfriend is beating me right now, that would have been more expected for me than how do I fuck with Outlook?
Yeah, man, that was wild.
Like out of left field so hard.
That
Man,
was
a
out of
couple months
pocket, bro.
ago, I was asking Excel questions every day, so I'm glad I'm not asking those questions anymore.
Bro's
I
here to
love her.
learn. He's
I
like,
feel
I'm
like
ready to learn.
ChatGPT might be able to answer this for you. That'd be kind of fun if it did.
Oh yeah,
Honestly,
ask
ChatGPT, dude, they downgraded it. They started censoring it basically, so it's not as good anymore. I was using it to try to learn coding, not learn coding, but I wanted to just create programs with it to use for work to automate some things for Python, and it was doing it really well. And then like I think they figured out that people were using it for that, and so they nerfed it or whatever.
Somebody just posted on the chat to help you out notes.
Why would what would be the benefit for them nerfing their own program? That doesn't make any sense.
Because they're going to make that a
many
pay.
people
because
are
they're going to
using it
make
to
a
cheat.
killing. They're going to make it a pay-to-use feature. So if you want ChatGPT to use or to write code for you, it's going to be like $10 a month. So they're finding out what all the
They're
computers
literally
really want
they're literally putting the product out into the market and allowing you to be a guinea pig for it, test it, and then as it starts to produce lucrative results, they closet those, they shelve them, and they go like, well, hey, so continue to teach our algorithms for us. We'll give you some novel outputs. And I don't want, look, I'm not a journalist. I don't have a voice.
But bro,
channel.
like if you're an actual coder, you're just going to use GitHub Copilot. Like, I mean, like,
Copilot is becoming less reliable as well.
Is it?
The
At the end
problem
of
with
the day-
Copilot is that it doesn't understand security. So if anyone writes code with Copilot, SQL injection attacks, very, very hard to automatically detect. It's just a consequence of how a lot of GitHub code posted to GitHub is written, which is the training basis for Copilot.
Well,
I
you
have
still have to like read the output code. You can't just
No, what are you talking
You'd be
about?
surprised
You
how many
can't-
people submit the pull requests stuff that was generated off of Copilot.
Yeah, we don't do that. It's
So
called because it's
imagine
all copy and paste.
all
Imagine
copy and
if
paste.
that was done for a Solidity contract, Scald. I'm sure you'd be rolling in your newly dug grave.
Oh, absolutely. I would if someone copy and pasted a Solidity contract, I would lose my mind. Well, and then I would have to review the entire contract line by line. But yeah, I would also.
So it supposedly made a really good. I asked it to make a Python code that would log into my email and go through all my unread messages and save any messages that had an attachment, a PDF to a defined folder. And like when it first came out, it legit wrote the code.
Yeah, it will. Like
That's what I
you
want to
can.
talk about, Notes. That's what I want to talk about. Is I want to focus on that element of it because just in the brief time that I interacted with Chat GPT, it was very clear that it changed very rapidly in its responses, and it would literally start to tell me it couldn't give me responses when it saw like ways that I was progressing logically through series of questions. I mean, you would. At first, I'd ask it questions, and it was just giving me answers. It was really encouraging. I was like, "This is very cool. This is a massive tool that can scrape through enormous amounts of data using artificial intelligence to leverage computing to provide for mankind." Kind of the same way I view the internet, and obviously we know what happened with the internet. We're using a very, very small portion of it. We're not at all expending it to its capacity. But then it started, I was asking it to do code too. I was asking it, like, can you build me a program within these parameters? And then all of a sudden, I mean, not all of a sudden, but it gradually started giving me responses like, I look, it started couching everything. It was like talking to somebody who, those boring
Eyes moving up.
So from a developer's perspective, it's actually terrifying because I can go into Chat GPT and we were talking about Razor a second ago. I can tell it to build me an entire front-end Razor application, and it will spit back the foundational code for a Razor application, web app, right? And I can just copy and paste that. It'll lay it all out for me. And then I can say, hey, Chat GPT, how do I connect my Razor website to a SQL database? And sure enough, it'll give me step by step how to wire up the data on the back end, how to do my entire fucking role.
Yeah, and that's what Notes is saying, though.
It's
That's
dope,
what Notes
man,
is saying,
and that's what like we're doing over here, right? And so like I've been talking to the other people at Envari, and like what we've decided is instead of hiring artists, I've just made all the game art using my self-hosted Stable Diffusion. And instead of hiring additional programmers, I think we might hire like one guy that has some experience with Unreal. But other than that, man, like we already have a lot of coding experience among the founders. And with AI being such a force multiplier, like I don't really know how many additional people we're going to need. We even found an AI. This is the dopest thing. We even found an AI that will automatically texture Unreal Engine generated 3D models with Stable Diffusion graphics.
Jesus Christ, are you serious? Is it fast? Is it fast?
Oh, it's dope. Yeah, no, it's super fast. So I'm like, yeah, just like make this house, and then it just like it goes in there and just does it, and then the house has textures, and the door looks like a door.
4K?
And yeah,
We're saying like Jesus.
Here, let me. I'll send you the code. I'll send you
when BMW when BMW made a subscription-based seat warmer, I knew that we were at the end of our rope for humanity.
Yeah, and it's not just BMW now. I forget what the other company that I think it was Lexus. Lexus just came out with one of their electric vehicles and said, if you want us to unlock the performance of the vehicle, you're going to pay a subscription, not a one-time payment.
That was Mercedes.
Oh, it was Mercedes. Excuse me.
Next thing you know, whenever you're on the freeway, it's going to ask you for a quick payment, and if you don't pay, your car's just going to die in the middle of the freeway.
So what are we going to do about this? I mean, is this the world that we want to live in? Are we comfortable with this?
I said this the other day when we talked about this. It's hacking. It's at the end of the day, like it's pushing towards that dystopia, right? Like the more paywalls and shit that they put between us and our products, the more you're going to see people like me get pissed off and hack some shit.
But do you also have to put value in the fact that you're living like a king did 200 years ago? You have AC that you can turn on, heat, you can heat ice.
Well, I mean, hold on.
Put value in these, don't we?
No, I don't. No, here's a controversial opinion.
I mean, how hard is a rheostat connected to your battery connected to the seat warmer? Really?
But yeah, no, it's not hard at all. I know, but look, Notes. One of the things I think that pushes us collectively as a species, and more specifically as groups or as nation states, towards towards kind of our own indentured servitude, or living on a farm where all of the products are our avenues and options are limited by the shepherds, is this idea that the things that make you happy, the things that are good, are only going to be realized in our era and in the future. And we tend to reject all the things in the past and focus on all the bad stories and imagine that all of our ancestors, who we have to give credit for whatever we have now, because all technological innovation is built on the shoulders of the great men who came before, all the way back to the theoretical creation of the wheel. But they weren't. I mean, I think that it's foolish to look back with this confidence that they were inbred savages who were incapable of anything. I think we have to be
So
very.
what's the point of this?
The point is that we should not take it for granted. We should not
I
take
have
it
a
as
very
a
short
guarantee
attention
that your
span, like
cell
not
phone
spoilers,
provides
so.
you with more happiness than could be provided by companionship from human beings within
Listen.
All right,
I'm
bro.
with you.
You
You
lost
lost
me on
like
that.
3,000 people. I'm with you, but you lost to everybody.
So am I
My
getting
attention-
calls
like
on
I
the
said, my
past, or am
attention-
I getting puts on the past right now? I'm a little lost.
I think we should move on,
Yes.
everybody.
You want me to puts on my ancestors?
Puts on AMC because Avatar absolutely failed at the box office.
Puts on Disney. What up? Anyway.
Oh wait, Disney makes
in
Avatar?
addition to
Disney
that,
makes Avatar. What up? Okay, so
No way.
White Geek, I went ahead and sent you the actual GitHub repository, and then
Yeah,
I
I'm looking
sent you a video of it actively texturing a model in Blender.
Sounds like it's it looks a lot like the new Pokemon should have leveraged this.
It's dope, dude. Like, I was just like, man, making video games is going to be pretty easy in the near future, and like, it's pretty great.
Yeah,
I like it.
I agree.
All I'm hearing from you guys is we wasted all our money on college learning programming. And AI is just going to finish everything.
That's where the joke's on you. I went to school for economics, buddy. So I don't know.
Jokes on you. I didn't go to school. I'm self-taught.
Joke's on you. I had no money to begin with.
AI with options to trade.
But if we're like super confident that these artificial intelligences and these programs that we're talking about are in fact going to replace the bulk of the grunt work to code these things, then what happens to the population? Those companies are going to benefit. I mean, right? They're gonna achieve greater price to earnings ratios. They're gonna
Probably not, because all the workers aren't going to have money to spend because we're all automated away.
Let me tell you my dream right now for my startup is to basically have a Disney style deal going where, in the early days of Disney Studios, they had a bunch of like production artists that were just drawing the same frame over and over again to make animated movies. Basically that, but with coding video games. So I'll have a bunch of kids, they'll be coding video games, and like they won't have to think too much. They will have to press a lot of buttons though. And then in the end, we'll just pump out a shit ton of games.
So
that's
it's
the idea.
Roblox.
Yeah, basically
it's actually
with better graphics and with more direct control. But yeah,
It's actually the concept of visual scripting. And, I don't know how many people can even know what that is, but it's the idea that I don't have to write code anymore. I can just like drag and drop things together and it writes the code for me.
right. How do you improve the brain machine interface so that I don't have to actually sit there?
Solutions are very good for basic CRUD, create, update,
Yes.
read, delete type apps. Anything beyond that requires a little more sophisticated logic is not really within the realm of those no-code tools.
Well, so I thought so also in the Unity world, it's called, before you make the statement, Hearthstone, Blizzard's Hearthstone was built in Unity 3D and they didn't write any code. It's all visual scripting.
yeah, making card games this way is actually super easy, which is why the first thing we're publishing is actually a card game. It's just super easy to make a card game because, like, basically all it is it's just a bunch of discrete logic at the back end, right? You have a card that interacts with another card. That's why Magic the Gathering was invented by a math professor, right? It's basically mathematics. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. But like, I think Hardy's right. Like a more complex game would be harder to make using that methodology.
I do
Hey
agree.
guys, I've got to go. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Sorry, I got on a rant there, but good luck in the market.
For those of you still listening, I intend to host a Q&A tomorrow, so we can get your questions answered on options trading. If you're okay with this, by all means, post in the comments, let us know, and we'll probably get a post up on WallStreetBets proper so that you can pre-ask your questions.
Can I join these on my desktop? I know that was a thing, and I thought they took it away. Is it a thing again?
Desktop Reddit talks have always been a thing. They're just increasingly hard to find.
Yeah, that's the problem. I can't find it.
It's actually, if you go into, let's see, if you go into Happening Now in your Reddit bar on the desktop, it's the it's those icons across, or actually on the left-hand side, just next to the Reddit icon where it says Reddit in the top menu bar.
So my question for you is, if you wanted to get notified of these Reddit talks, how would you like to do that? Reddit notification, text message, email, Discord notification? How?
What we'll probably need to do, Opinion, is set up a new website that can send push notifications for those who subscribe. And
Yeah,
then
I like
new
it.
Reddit talk post would trigger that website.
I do get notifications from Confused Money. I don't. But
Yeah,
I don't.
I get them from Confused Money as well.
I don't know how. I don't get them from WallStreetBets though.
You have to turn them on and make
Yeah.
the notifications frequent.
Well, I have them turned on and make sure they're frequent several times. But same way, I get them from Confused Money. I don't get them from Reddit. But on the Confused Money, I normally get them about say 2.5 hours or 3 hours after it was sent out. So whoever the dev team is, I hate them.
Okay, so there's a setting per subreddit where you can turn on notifications. Got it.
Yeah, there's a setting on each subreddit, and I think the reason you guys probably get them for Confused Money is in numerous of the talks I told you guys exactly how to turn on notifications for the subreddit. So that's probably some of you guys went and did that when I said it on the talk, and now that's why you get them.
Well, I'm positive mine is set up both ways, but what I'm saying is on the Confused Money is I normally get them like I will get sometimes you set out the pre-talk. I will get that around say 10:30, 11 o'clock. They always come like hours late.
I get the Confused Money talk on the spot.
Do you have notifications set up on WallStreetBets also?
Let's go over how
I
to do
do
that.
And then I went back and actually deactivated everything and then turn them back on again. So the only way I can find these talks is even if I do an infinite scroll on WallStreetBets, I don't see them. I have to click on Opinions profile, and then it's normally like the second or third thing down.
Yeah,
make sure the notifications on WallStreetBets aren't set up to low, but are set up to frequent.
Where are those? Where's that configurations called? How do I get to that notification?
So
we may need to set up screenshots and post to the chat for everybody else.
Yeah, we might actually need to.
Yeah.
So on desktop, at the top it says WallStreetBets, says joined. Then there's a little alarm button. If you click on that, it triggers a drop down, and it says frequent, low, or turned off. You want to turn it onto frequent, and then you should get the notification when Opinion starts a chat. The only time I've not gotten a notification is when multiple chats were started in the same time period, but I think that's a thing with Reddit, not with.
And I was saying on mine, I'm coming from the mobile side and an Android, so Porfag. But I'm positive the notifications are turned on. So and again, it could be just my Android or my mobile app.
So before you've probably been here before before these Reddit talks, and you've probably disabled the notifications a long time ago.
Wait. In the top left-hand corner of your desktop browser version of Reddit, there should be a button that says Get New Reddit. if you have that and you click it, then the live is going to be on the top of WallStreetBets.
And while I will admit I'm not a complete noob, but I'm not a tard either, I have went through and made sure to turn them off and then say unsubscribe and then subscribe back and then turn them back on. I've tried it multiple times. I still just don't get nothing from the Wall Street Bet side. And I'm positive they're turned on.
Yeah, I don't know about the notifications, but this is a very different experience. So if you are struggling to find it, you probably need to click that Get New Reddit button.
So beyond the web notifications, which I think would only work for desktop users, not sure if web notifications are a thing for mobile. How do we reach mobile users, who I think are the vast majority of listeners?
I get notifications every time on mobile.
Yeah.
The reason that I asked to begin with is because I'm starting to write software that's targeting this chat, and I want to be able to listen to it, and I can't run that software on my phone. And so I'm concerned about that.
Gotcha.
Really quick, before I go, I wanted to tack on to the Disney conversation with Avatar. Their Willow show also has like terrible ratings, and they've had to reshoot Indiana Jones 5. Bearish.
Was that Slut Spoiler? Because that was Slut Spoiler's thesis.
Yep, that was me. Yep.
Yeah, so it's coming to bear.
Yeah, there's a lot of juicy opportunities to load up on puts. I'll be scalping around. Looks like Chinese stocks are going up and down. I probably open up another covered call.
It's actually a lot different. There's a lot of focus on live chats. I got pop-up notifications about live chats, all kinds of stuff that I wasn't getting before. So again, if you guys have not clicked this Get New Reddit button, I would suggest doing it.
Hey, Scald, is Spy forming a Scald squiggle right now?
Let me take a look. Give me a second.
Because it did the Scald bulge just a little bit shortly after opening, but it looks like it might be doing the Scald squiggle.
It's two green candlesticks, two red candlesticks, and then it's a spinning top. And if you see those 5 candles in a row, that's the Scald squiggle.
I saw it. I had a skull bulge when you sent me that AI.
Wait, what does the squiggle mean?
It means it's about to rocket. It's about to rocket, and break through any resistance that's nearby.
Okay, because it just hit I think it was at 382.94, and it just resisted there.
Yeah, so I've noticed this pattern. Like we've been jokingly calling it the Scald squiggle. So don't put too much intent behind this one. But basically, that's the pattern: is like 2 red candles, 2 green candles upward, and then a spinning top doji. If you're familiar with doji, after that full pattern, then it rockets. One direction or another, either up or down. I haven't exactly figured out how to predict that last part, but that pattern occurs and then it's a large movement, and I've observed it on a lot of different stocks. So like I've observed this on multiple securities.
Okay, so it's almost time to do a call or a put.
Yeah. So I first started seeing this pattern like occur on the charts every time Jerome Powell talked. And then I was like, man, does this pattern occur in other charts and other places? And sure enough, it does. and I don't know. It's something that I want to back test. I just haven't got around to it yet.
Well, it just now peaked and hit 97, and the previous resistance was at 94. So I'm hoping it's a bull, but we'll just have to see.
What was it? Sorry, what was the ticker for that?
SPY.
What
Yeah,
scanners do you guys use if you normally use scanners?
I use FinViz as my initial screener. I used to screen through TD Ameritrade, but honestly, I've found, or Thinkorswim, but honestly, I've found the scanning feature on FinViz, and it's free, to be pretty straightforward. Then once I get my list of securities, then I'll do a deeper dive on Thinkorswim. Or if I'm just day trading
How much do you pay on Thinkorswim?
Thinkorswim?
Yeah, how much do you pay for that?
I don't think I pay anything just for the platform. Maybe I do.
It's free.
Yeah, the platform's free. The trades cost money.
Got it.
I'll trade on Thinkorswim for my larger stuff, and then for my smaller kind of day trades and stuff like that, I use Robinhood.
So you have a cash account on Robinhood.
Yo, is it
Yeah,
true
no,
that
that's
Robinhood does the most margin,
correct.
or they'll give you the most margin rates?
Well, Robinhood gives margin to pretty much everybody, as far as my understanding goes, right? Like everybody gets margin as soon as they open a account, right? So there's that.
How are they able to give more margin than their competitors though? Because Webull doesn't give the 4 to, I don't know, there was Robinhood does a 4 to 1 for this one stock I was looking at, and Webull was 2 to 1 or something. So
Well, notes. Do they know that you live in Florida?
Oh,
My supposition is that Robinhood has likely just decided that it wants to be a higher risk broker. So it's willing to just do that. But, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Maybe if we had someone who had better knowledge of the inner workings of FINRA in the chat who could tell us about that, that would be great.
Oh, were you talking about me?
I was fishing. Yeah, I was fishing there, Hardy. I was like,
what was the original question?
The original question was, why does Robinhood give out margins so freely, but other brokers don't? And I said my supposition is that they're just higher risk, but it would be great if we knew somebody that knew more about the regulatory environment. Maybe they know something more about why.
FINRA doesn't regulate how much margin you can give out.
Oh, really?
It regulates the margin requirements of the broker. So theoretically, because Robinhood is not a broker, they're not actually giving you margin. They're just drawing off of their own cash or whatever to grant you
that was my
margin.
next question. Okay.
SPY hit 383.
Oh, so that's how they're able to sidestep. Interesting. All right. I thought they had
Robinhood is not Robinhood is not a brokerage the way Interactive Brokers is. They are a fintech company, which allows trading on top of other brokerage platforms.
Nice.
Very important distinction.
Anybody else use Ally?
Yeah, what about them?
I was just curious. I've never met anyone else who uses it.
I don't use their brokerage service, let's be clear. I only use them for banking. And even then, a subset of my banking. But I do use them.
Yeah, I use them for brokerage.
Then you're going through Apex Clearing.
What was that?
You're going through Apex Clearing, which is basically clearing as a service.
Wait, so what does that mean?
Ally is paying Apex to provide brokerage services to Ally customers using Ally branding.
Oh, okay. I thought when you
In
said clear,
practice, it
you
just
meant
means
they're
that when you have to complain about Apex clearing, not against Ally.
okay.
Hardy, what brokerage do you use?
My fun account or my degenerate account is Interactive Brokers. I have a JP Morgan private wealth management account, and then a Fidelity account for my retirement stuff.
Is your DGen account Interactive Brokers because of the API?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm doing too.
In the past, one of the advantages of Robinhood was the margin. What the margin or interest rate was pretty low. Now I think it's up like 6% or so. But on as far as other say companies or that you use,
Turn right now.
what other
Keep right.
services actually provide instant deposit? Sorry, I GPS talk on here. Because Robinhood will give you instant deposit.
Yeah,
Are there other brokers that do that?
Yeah, I know. I think Webull does that as well after a few deposits. I think IBKR, by the way, just my own opinion, is probably one of the most reputable ones that I've came across because it's the only one that has declined me for option trading. And I was pretty impressed by that. I was like, thank you for saving my money. Like that broker actually cared about me.
Not that they cared. Did you? What were your when you filled out the application? Did you say that the purpose of the account was for speculative reasons?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Okay, then maybe you just didn't have sufficient assets.
Yeah, it would be in the survey questions. I did that I set up a SoFi account recently, and it didn't allow me to do it based on the answers. And then I just went in and changed it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, welcome home, fam."
Carvana's up by 14% right now.
Dude, I'm up 121%. I might just sell right now that QTNT.
Is it up 121% on the day notes, or is your position up that much? According to my math, your position's up about 47.86%.
My position's up 50 point. We're now 48.34%. Yeah. For the day though, it's up. Yeah.
Hey, I've got a question on cash accounts if anybody knows. So recently I tried to change my Robinhood account to a cash account so that I could do day trades. With it wouldn't allow me to do it until I closed out, say, the current options I had, because if you on Robinhood, if you go to a cash account, you can still buy options, but you can only buy calls or puts. You can't do a credit spread or a debit spread. Are there other brokerages that will allow you to do a debit spread or credit spread on a cash account?
Tastyworks, I think. Actually, never mind. They do margin differently, so that didn't work.
Well, it's even with margin turned off, you can still do the options on Robinhood. You can only buy just straight buy a call or a put or sell a call or put, but no. I forget what they call it.
They disable level 3 options. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Even if you have 25,000 in.
Yeah, so I tried to change mine to a cash account, and it wouldn't do it without closing out those trades. So I just went and just turned the settings back on, and I've had margin turned on for a while, but not using margin because when I was new, I got burned and lost a bunch of money. Well, when I went to turn it back on, it denied it based on, it said profile settings and please call customer service, which I left it off. But I guess I'm one of the rare ones that got denied turning it back on. And it could be best to just do the straight up buying a call or put or sell, not doing the call or the debit spreads, or I don't know.
Does anyone else here have different brokerages to separate their long term and short terms. Like for example, all my long terms in Schwab, and I barely even look at it. And all my short term plays are in Robinhood, and that's where I can do options because it just looks easier.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be putting. I'm not putting my retirement in Robinhood. Let's say that.
It is a pretty common practice.
Yo, I'm so ready for the beginning of this new year, man. Ready for these end of year financial statements. I'm so prepared. Like I've been like working overtime making sure that this new year is gonna be fucking a breeze.
It's going to be very interesting to see how many people are laid off. Because I know some companies are pushing it back until the holidays are over to start laying people off. I know Grinder is about to lay off people early January, and there's a few other companies and some tech industry companies that are gonna start laying off people.
That's to be expected. Q1, I'm anticipating a lot of layoffs Q1, followed by the severance payouts, which means people will have 3 to 6 months of cash to float them, and then the missed mortgage payments start showing up this summer. Or something along those lines, and defaults start increasing, that kind of stuff.
Artie, do you think that we're gonna see the type of foreclosures that we saw in like 2008?
Possibly, because a lot of people back then, if you remember, were using ARMs and other like ninja style loans to secure housing, which they would flip within the month, so they didn't have to make a mortgage payment. You have something similar going on with short-term rentals, where that guy had like 2,400 units and went boom. So I imagine it's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen at the same scale yet, but there's a similar, well, there's a smaller but similar amount of interconnection or systemic risk across the industry or across the economy, really.
I'd be very worried if I was like one of these Airbnb hosts and had like multiple properties.
Well, I'm looking forward to a bunch of those illegal Airbnb hosts here in New York to go tits up.
Like for us, like I don't really pay attention to the U.S. housing market because I'm in Canada. But for us, I am seeing a downturn. I believe they reported it's been down 50% for the year in housing sales.
Sounds about right.
The Canadian housing market is very different from the US market, though. It's not comparable.
So I was actually looking at a lot of houses during the summer just to see where the market was, and I saw a house in Southern California in Long Beach. It got listed for 540,000. It got sold. 4 months later, it got sold for 620,000. No remodels, no nothing changed, and it got sold. And it got turned into an Airbnb, and now that house is listed again at 680,000, but it got sold at 580. And just a bounce back and forth, it's like a kangaroo. So in my opinion, I'm on the spectrum a little bit, but my opinion, I think it's very volatile and market's a little confused right now.
Well, keep in mind, with the higher interest, people cannot necessarily afford a higher mortgage payment. So if you take, let's say, a $3,000 a month mortgage payment, at 2% interest, you can afford way more house than you can than at 6% interest, and that's most likely what will drive new and existing home sales.
That's very true.
Make of that what you will. Right, 10 more minutes till the oil inventory number comes out. Natural gas storage came in at $213 billion drawdown, so there should be higher natural gas prices in our future. We'll see if crude oil is the same. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off and do some daddy duty. Have fun, everybody.
Thanks for coming, Hardy.
Take it easy.
Wait, pause. No homo.
Alrighty, let's get some new fresh faces up here.
Okay, guys, I just came back from the gym, but I do have a new position. I don't know if you guys are done talking about positions.
No, what do you got, man?
Okay, so yesterday I put on a new position. It is an XSP. That's the mini SPX index. I put it at 380, 6 contracts. It's a straddle. So it's 6 contracts on the put side, 6 contracts on the call side, 380 strike price. But this is short. It's not long straddle. It's a short straddle. The expiration date is for December of next year. So that's 1 year leap. And that's pretty much it.
When
But
did
I
you get
noticed
in the
something
trade?
yesterday. I put it on
Oh, okay.
yesterday. It was at the money, that's why. And today it looks like we rallied hard. But there's something that I noticed with short, especially the lead side is since it's Samsung, it's a long expiration, one year. Excuse me. Um, that for the P&L for the day, not open, but you lose money when it's at the money for the day. And you gain a whole lot of money when it moves to either side. So, for example, yesterday we ripped, well, not ripped, but we went down a lot, and I gained about, I don't know, 1K on that. I didn't exit, but today we went back to the strike price, and then I lost money for the P&L for the day on that. So just wanted to let you guys know that it looks like even when you buy straddle, you lose money when it goes in either direction because the premiums are so large. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you definitely make sense. I think there's a few people in here that have that expertise that could, facilitate a conversation, regarding all that, man. But I'm still learning some of those straddles and all that, so I wouldn't have anything of substance. But I used to sell phones, so I can sell
Oh.
you, a really good conversation, so I can continue this going. But I still have to
Well, I'll
find
tell
the
you what,
subject.
I had the Samsung Galaxy Fold Z3. Galaxy Fold? No, the Z Fold 3. What do you think on that? Is that a good phone or no? Is that
No, see, in regards to Samsung, I think I would get puts on Samsung because I don't see
okay?
them as being a company that's going to take care of the consumers. I mean, they created a product a few years ago that was literally blowing up in people's faces. So, I think
I'll tell you
Samsung
what,
and
my sister has a Samsung fridge, and they only gave her a 1 year warranty on it. So when it went in the fridge for about 5 years in, they told her, tough luck. The warranty's only 1 year for a fridge. I thought warranties on fridges like 5 to 10, but apparently for Samsung it's only 1 year.
Did you get the extended warranty?
No, there was just a basic manufacturer's warranty.
I got you.
It wasn't extended. Like for example, my LG fridge gives a 5 year warranty, manufacturer's warranty, but Samsung only gives 1 year for large items like that because the fridge is not cheap.
I'm not a huge Samsung fan. I don't have a Samsung phone, but I do know like their Note series phones are decent. On the ones that are
I
blowing
heard
up,
about that.
if
Yeah.
I remember correctly, it was a third party who made the battery, but still Samsung was responsible. But I know that they make some of the chips for, or did for Apple, and the camera, something to do with the internals of it. So now the new phone that folds, I just don't know how that's going to work out long term for them, how it'll hold up for somebody. I don't know anybody that has it. It looks neat, but overall, it's hard to bet against them.
Right. It's my first foldable phone. I bought it just 2 months ago, so I'm just trying it out. I do know from reading other reviews that for foldable phones overall, because the screen folds and there's a screen protector, the screen protector lasts for about 6 months. Then you have to get it redone on that. And you also have to be careful with foldable phones because the inner screen is not like the outer screen, which is glass. It's actually just plastic inside. You can't really
Right.
put a
And I would
glass
think
protector
holding
on
up
it.
long term would depend too on if you're in a warm climate, if you're in cold. I would think cold could affect it. But in saying that, I've never had one, so I'm just basing it off of just speculation. It looks neat. I don't know how the pixels are on, or the what is it, the screen, the resolution would be on the spots that fold. But it does
It's
look
good.
neat, but it's not something I would want. But it looks neat.
Yeah, the resolution's good. It's like you can get 4K resolution on it on the inner screen. The good thing about it though, when I talk with my accountant, if you make a profit trading, you can actually write off the phone because you use it to pretty much trade. So that's good. So in case this one breaks, I'll just get a new one. Write it off with any other gains I had or taxable gains. So that's good at least. Not financial advice.
I've heard of this profit making phrase. I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
Do we have any bags here? That's what I want to know.
Again with the bags, bro.
I got one bag, but who doesn't want to listen to any bag stories? You should own your bags. I own mine.
Sorry, I don't hold on to losing place.
Rookie.
Anybody else use Booyah?
What?
What?
It was methamphetamine.
That dude's Mike.
Better than that, bro.
He has that Happy Meal Mike from McDonald's.
And he's got that Reddit mic that they sent out to people.
Wait, they send out Reddit mics?
You didn't get
Apparently.
one? We all got one. and a hoodie.
Yeah, you don't want one. They're not there. Really.
Opinion, what is this? Give me mine. Give me my Reddit mic. And my hoodie.
Mine just says thanks for the work, and then it's signed by someone named Ken Sitta something.
Oh, Kenny boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's loose. You don't know that, right?
Mine actually came with some house slippers from Reddit, so.
No, I think you guys are pulling my chain here.
From Reddit or Bed Bath and Beyond? The house slippers.
Wait.
The little tag inside the slipper said BBBY, but on the logo on top of the slipper said Reddit.
Come on, today's so green. No one has anything. We're all
Does
just sitting
anybody?
on puts.
I have a question. I don't know if anybody's an expert on this. Does anybody know, or does anybody currently trade not with their personal account but with an LLC?
You could do that.
Is that you, Notes?
I'm gonna say
Do you
talk
do
to
that?
an accountant, man. Talk to an accountant on this one.
I don't think Webull and Robinhood lets you trade from an LLC entity. I think you can only trade from your social security number. Wait, I don't even remember if they asked me for my social security number.
They do ask for your SS number.
They have to ask you for your SS number. They have to follow KYC, know your customer rules, so they need to ask for your SSS number.
Oh, is that why the Bitcoin ATMs have to start asking for IDs now?
Part of regulation, bro. KYC.
If you do an LLC correctly, you would get a federal ID number, which is the same digits as a social security number, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you get an EIN number. Yeah, that's the EIN number. I do have an LLC, but it's for a different industry. It's not for trading though. So my question was just gonna be.
It's for his OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's for my OnlyFans.
So wait, on the buying Bitcoin from an ATM, they require you to put an ID in it now. If so, I bet that's going to. Which one? I wouldn't buy one from an ATM. Period. I would think that's going to make it go.
Over like $100, over $100 or $150, you have to show a driver's license. Yep.
at an ATM?
I know at a Bitcoin ATM where you can put cash in.
Oh wow. Damn. Where did you see where are Bitcoin ATMs? I haven't. I'm in the Northeast. I haven't seen any
There's
Bitcoin
actually a couple.
ATMs.
There's actually a couple by my house that I've seen personally.
What state?
Texas.
Oh wow.
So,
Do you
in
know
case
the
this sounds
city?
racist, I don't mean it this way, but in Kentucky, there's a lot of gas stations owned by Indian guys. Really nice fellows, but those are the ones who have a lot of the Bitcoin ATMs around here. The ones that sell the fake Adderall and the vapes and all the other little trinkets.
The fake
They're
weed.
everywhere.
I don't see how they're race. I don't see how.
Well, by saying
Yeah, I
it's
don't
in the
see.
sketchy Indian gas stations or Haji Marsh, I'll
I
say
see.
that would be the racist part of it.
I see.
That's what they call
I
them.
see. I see.
Wait, I see it. My guy, fix your mic. Jeez.
Is mine sounding horrible?
Hold on, not that. Everybody's is.
It's Zealous. I think you just have to lower your mic volume. It might be too high on your end. Your mic volume. Maybe go to your Bluetooth
So you're
settings
saying
or something.
better?
No, still high.
Maybe test it out in Discord, and we'll help you troubleshoot there, as opposed to wrecking like 300 people's ears. I think the link for the Discord. Nope.
Bro.
That's a 10-4 copy.
I think the link for the Discord is in the sticky comments, so just go figure it out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Oh yeah,
Kenny, why you always take the conversation off to Discord when I come on? Huh? Am I a journalist?
You come on so late. I think you rose your hand at like 10:50 or something.
No, I mean, well, I just came back from the gym.
Yeah,
I was hearing you guys earlier. It's just I couldn't obviously talk while working out.
No offense, bro, but you sound like the journalist brother.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, who said that? Simple told me the same thing. I sound like journalist. I think it's because of my accent. I don't know what ethnicity journalist is though.
Journalist lives a double life. He uses a journalist account to fuck with us, and then uses this one to be nice with us.
Oh, you must have been on a different mic because on the day that you were on Confused Money, you sounded exactly like Opinion, just slightly more timid, but the mic was different, slightly clearer. Not clear,
well,
but clear.
Unlike journalists, I don't insult people. I heard him today. He was very condescending, by the way.
Nah, he was out of pocket still.
Yeah.
He said minorities don't own their own homes, or something like that.
Well, he said he just said a lot of overall stuff.
No. Hold on.
Unnecessary stuff.
Hold on. I don't need to be defending him, but no, he said the people in this chat do not own their own homes, and that the minority of
like
this
a collective
chat
group.
would be homeowners.
Gotcha.
Like, in this case, I gotta not a big fan, but I gotta stand up for him. He wasn't being racist.
Well,
I just meant overall.
Well, he can speak for himself because
that.
My girlfriend and I own our own home, so.
Okay. Is he rich? Has he ever bragged about being rich? Because he definitely talks like he is.
Hey, you do well. I guess it affects it.
He's from Spain, so that speaks for itself.
He is the clearest paper trade account I have maybe ever heard on this entire. I'm sorry. The big brain, you guys just don't know value plays like I do. Let me explain the companies and how you make money, and I know how to evaluate everything, and I can see the future. That is the most paper traded. I have $100 that I play with sometimes account I've ever heard.
So
well, it is Thankful Thursday, so we're thankful for those great advice that he gives us.
Yes, I am thankful for the advice. most of y'all give out here on this chat.
So with the Moo, I just threw a bunch of UVixies up. Like it's going to be my little indicator. I have them all at like 688 or something like that. But it's such a hard app to use. The load time on the app is like slowing down my phone to a halt. I don't know. Has anybody else used Moo?
I don't think so. Mumu is like the eToro, man.
Well, I'm thinking you see Asia rising up like it is. Maybe if I can get access to that, it would be worth it. I only threw $100 on it.
Well,
your
why not
mic sounds
just
a lot
switch?
better too now.
Yes. Why not just switch brokers other than Mumu? Like, what's so great about Mumu? Why not go to like TD Ameritrade or Fidelity or E-Trade?
That's what I'm going to do for the new year. I don't want the taxes getting mixed up in this year with legitimate brokers. So I'm going to open up probably TD Ameritrade. People said it's good, but Fidelity looks really attractive. It's just like a long term.
I use Ameritrade as my boomer profile.
Same I use TD Ameritrade.
I mean, is it just the information so much better coming through on that?
Quite frankly, yes. I used IBKR Interactive Brokers. I didn't like it. It's too slow. I believe they use some sort of remote virtual desktop approach or virtual desktop software. For me, the prices don't update as fast as the other brokers. I found out TD Ameritrade or Thinkorswim, they update the prices pretty fast. So I just chose them.
I appreciate that. No, and I see so much flux between like what's really the capability of some of these. Robinhood's just a weird thing in the first place. And Webull, when it first came out, I thought it was terrible, but their service quality just improved, not the customers.
Oh, easy. There's a lot of Webull and Robinhood traders here.
Oh my god! If Robinhood doesn't improve this, I'll actually just close the app. I mean, I'm using it to its max right now, but it has been a giant. I don't even know the word. Weebles.
I'm a poor boy from Bulgaria. Don't insult Vlad. Okay?
No doubt, sir. No, I'm still using my Robinhood. It's just so used.
Robinhood has its uses for like, I guess like a degenerate account.
Pretty much. I mean, I go crazy on it. Right on.
Speaking of brokers who give you a large bid and ask spread and they call it free commission like Robinhood, does anybody know when the new implementation of the new stock trading rules that was recently voted on will come into effect?
Do you know what those rules were over? Because I don't recall ever reading on them.
I do see them.
Apparently the quotes that you get are going to be filled through, or your order is going to be filled through an auction house first. It's going to be routed to an auction house first, and instead of the orders going to your broker, who then gives it to a clearing, a market maker like Citadel or anybody else. That's what they're changing. They just want the orders to go through an auction house first, so you get the best available pricing. Whether that's good or not, I don't know. If somebody wants to give insight on that.
I mean, that's a great note. I mean, is that really going to be a permanent thing, though? I mean, as he was talking about the FINRA overlook here before, I mean, is that going to take effect and we're going to have better pricing going forward with the new year?
Well, I'll tell you this. The last time the rules were changed, like what they called, they introduced new regulations, is the same regulations we have today from 2005. So obviously things are going to change, but that's like years into the future, a decade into the future, probably it's going to change again. But whether it's good or not, I don't know if anybody has more insight on this. It sounds like they're selling it as a good pitch, but if anything I know regarding the SEC, anything they sell, they always try to twist what they're trying to sell. Let's put it that way.
I see. Well, that's my whole question with Webull, because they're both associated with the major hedge fund that we all know. You know, I mean, it's if they were to improve the service on the one side, sort of leave it on the broker table on the Webull side, I see the game that's being played there is still a little confusing.
Well, that's it's not just to not isolate Webull. That's every broker. Robinhood, Webull, Mumu, eToro. Heck, even TD Ameritrade does it, and Fidelity as well. Um, they're very buddies with market makers like Citadel or other big ones as well. Just because of just because of the old SEC trading rules from 2005, like I told you, so that they're trying to change that. I just don't know when it's going to be implemented. I haven't heard any news on an exact date when it will be implemented.
Well, everything seems to be being proposed here at the end of the year, whereas the past few years, tax-wise too, we had a little bit of lead up. I know the SEC and the IRS pretty separate, but they've moved in tandem here for a few years. So I appreciate the talk there. That's good shit.
Moving from that conversation over to, I guess, payment processors, like Zelle and Cash App and Venmo. I believe they moved that the IRS has moved that $600 limit that they'll tax you on to next year, not this year. So that'll happen in 2024.
When did you see that?
Yeah, I read that on Forbes yesterday.
Yeah, that was just recent. I think that happened last week.
I read that yesterday. I was really scared like that was here for today, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's good speculation going on that obviously the IRS did this because there's going to be a lot of flashback against that. Because I mean, $600, that's a very low threshold for a lot of people to take notice, especially when they use payment apps. I mean, a lot of people are going to notice when they get taxed and they get served a 1099 from out of nowhere. So that's why they moved it back a year. It's not that they're stopping; they're just kicking the can down the road regarding this rule.
What do you think tax-wise this season? Do you think that this is going to be a major push in this?
It's not going to affect you tax-wise this season. It's not. Yeah, it's not going to affect you next year. It will, just not this year. They moved it back 1 year.
Major preparation taking place for these changes here in this coming week, really.
Well, I'll give you a tip. Zelle is the only, I guess, payment processor that won't serve you a 1099 because it's bank to bank. So the money doesn't go through Zelle. It just matches up institutions from bank to bank. So they have no way of or no reason to give you a 1099.
Zelle isn't the same as like PayPal or Venmo, correct? Or
Right.
Zelle isn't the
That's
same
correct.
as Venmo or Cash App, right? Okay.
That's correct. All of them. So Zelle is the only one that won't give you a 1099. Zelle is the only one that you don't have to pay taxes on if you do make transfers above $600. So just letting you guys know, if you guys want still do transfers, share meals with your friends or pay for something,
tell me this.
use Zelle.
Tell me this. If what if a vendor, for example, I do bookkeeping, vendors, small businesses, vendors use Zelle to pay other vendors. How does that work out? That's just an expense, though. At that point, it's still an applicable way to pay an expense, right?
Yes, it's bank to bank. What Zelle is Zelle's platform. It's bank to bank. It's not going through a payment service entity like Venmo or PayPal or anybody else. Again, they won't serve a 1099 on that. Now, up to I don't know. That's regarding the financial institutions between yours and theirs. If they have a limit to how much you can transfer. For example, my bank has a limit when I use Zelle. It's above $1,000. Then I gotta call my bank that uses Zelle and have them approve to send the payment, which takes 24 hours of approval from my bank to send the payment over to whoever. Again, it depends on your financial institution and whoever the receiver is. But overall, Zelle will not send you a 1099.
Not to go off too much on that point here, that's a really great point though for people. But Coinbase made that big deal when they first came out. They're not going to, talk to the IRS, et cetera. Is that still in effect with them, where they're trying to be voyeur like that?
No. Oh no, Coinbase will talk to the IRS, boy. They're the most.
They work
They're
with the SEC very heavily, and that's why they're going to probably be the last standing one, because they're able to be regulated by the SEC, unlike Binance.
That's correct. That's correct. They are a U.S. exchange. They are heavily regulated. Um, so yes, if you think that Coinbase, obviously Coinbase has to follow KYC rules, know your customer rules, which is big. A lot of people don't think that's big. It's really big. So they have to follow everything the pretty much the SEC and the IRS requires for them to
I have a
operate in the
question on the
U.S.
$600 transaction. If anybody knows, like if you were to say deposit money into your checking account or your savings account, if it's $800, does that throw up a traceable act versus if you did it at 590, it wouldn't? Or how does that go on deposits?
If you do $800 and you use Zelle, no other payment app, and it's above the $600 limit,
No, I meant
from what
putting
they say.
cash into your bank, like your own personal checking account. You take cash into the bank.
Oh
Does
no,
that
you won't get
create
taxed. No, of course not.
no, not
Because you're
taxed, but it's any transaction over $600 is supposed to be reported. So does that mean deposits as well?
no, I don't think so.
That $600
it's
that you
your
keep saying is what they're talking about is $600 or more if you're doing a gig work job. So yeah, if it was for a gig or a work or some type of service and it's over $600, right? You're gonna want to report that. Yeah.
No, I
That's
understand that
correct.
you
Yeah,
would want
thanks
to
for
report
clarifying.
it, but what I'm just saying, if I did say hypothetically, I worked at a shift at Wendy's and I did, I got paid $300 on one time, $200 on another, and then $300 on the other. But I deposited them all at one time. That deposit can be over $600. Or if I deposit them separate, because what I'm meaning is, yes, I know what you're supposed to be taxed on, but does that automatically send a transaction or a report to the IRS? Because now, if I'm depositing my fees from Wendy's, but let's just say now I've been saving quarters for a while, and I have $590 worth of quarters saved up, and I take it to my bank, that shouldn't throw up a transaction. But if I deposit $620 in quarters that I've saved up, that's what I was getting at. I know I explained that horribly.
So let's say you use Venmo instead of Zelle for this example. Let's say you use Venmo, you did multiple deposits totaling $800 throughout the whole year of 2023. You will get a 1099 at the end of the year, and in your 1099, then you have to describe which ones constitute whether it was for a service or whether it wasn't. But they will keep track of it. You will get a 1099.
Yeah, I got that, and
But then
that's
you have
my
to
bad. I didn't
classify.
explain what I was meant properly. What I meant was on my bank side. Say if I have Bank of America or Chase Bank, the bank itself. If I go into the bank and meet a teller and deposit money into my account, if I deposit over $600, is that going to automatically send a report that, hey, this guy did a transaction over $600?
If you use Zelle, no, you won't. If you use now regarding Cash App, because I know for Venmo you can decide whether something is a business transaction or something is a personal transaction if you're just sending money to pay for a meal or split a bill with your friends. I know in Cash App you can classify that when you're sending the money out. And I know for Zelle you will not get a 1099. You don't have to worry about any of that. You use Zelle. But for payments like Cash App, which they don't have an option to classify whether something was a business or regarding a service or goods that you provided, or whether it was something personal between your friends. I'm not sure how Cash App would classify something like that. I think they're still working on their app to have some type of thing similar to what Venmo has, where you can classify. But to answer your question, if you use Zelle, no, you don't have to pay taxes. It's going straight to your personal bank account,
Well,
not going to anybody else.
the reason I was asking is that somehow the money has to get loaded to Venmo or Cash App or Zelle. So I would link my checking account. So if I were to deposit we'll say $700 into my checking account, now I then transfer that $700 to Zelle. That's what I was curious on, if I would be getting taxed twice, or to Venmo if they're going to consider that two different transactions.
Well, there's a difference between depositing, like you're saying, and somebody giving it to you. If you're depositing, again, to answer your question is no, you won't get a
Right.
1099.
Right, because if you deposit $100, withdraw $100, deposit $100, that's different from receiving $100 three times.
Well, what happens if like, let's say what happens if you buy something for someone and they reimburse it.
A will trade or something.
Pardon?
Yeah, because it's another institution. Well, depends. What service are you trying to use, Zelle or the other ones?
Well, look,
Let's say,
I can give you a perfect scenario. So, for example, this year I went to EDC with a big group of friends. It was at least 20 of us, and only 3 people in the entire group paid for everything just because they get, like benefits on their credit cards, right? So on my end, just for myself, besides my ticket, I send my friend a total of $796 for the entire week while we were in Vegas for EDC. Would that person get taxed for that because they paid for that, or how does that work? Because that person
right.
almost from like 6 different people, but it was money that they used to pay for us.
Well,
We just paid it
what
back.
payment app did they use?
They used Venmo and Zelle.
Okay, for the Zelle they wouldn't. For the Venmo, in Venmo it has two options: whether it's a personal expense or whether it was a business. You're saying something regarding business where you sold a good or service. So depending what they selected on Venmo, they might get a 1099 if they selected the business option when they're sending money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, dude.
Yep.
Okay, but no, just for everybody to notice, this is exactly why the IRS had to push it back 1 year, because they know a lot of people don't understand it just they know a lot of people are just gonna get a 1099 at the end of the year, and they're not gonna know why when all they did was, I don't know, either split a bill or use the business side on the Venmo, or they use the Cash App where they don't have a selection, or they used any other payment app like PayPal.
I
And
didn't
they
know that
knew,
the IRS pushed it out. That's good to know.
yeah, they pushed it back 1 year recently. It just happened a few days ago. They,
Yeah,
they
I think the
announced it.
moral of the story is every politician who voted that in the last, I think that went in the stimulus bill early in February. Every politician who voted that in needs to be kicked out of office. A-holes.
Yeah, because I bought something for my family out of my bank account. I mean, total was over $1,000, and they zilled me back about a month later the amount that I spent for them. So I mean, does that mean I'm gonna get taxed on money that I use on my own
Right.
personal expense?
And the big thing that they're going after is not even necessarily us consumers. It's the small businesses. It's all about taxing the small businesses. Small businesses.
No, I
make
heard
this
they were
country
going after
run.
the trillionaires and billionaires to pay their fair share. It wasn't
No, they
small
want to go
business.
after all the
I'm being sarcastic. Yeah.
Venmo and Cash App, and that's what they don't want
Yeah,
there to be a middle class. They want everyone to be in a working class or one person.
that's why they set aside funding to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. I forget what it was. Was it 70 billion over the next 10 years that goes into hiring new agents?
Yeah, I
Hey, just
Don't believe all the hype. You know the way the job market is right now. I mean, it took them 6 months to get my tax return to me, and I still haven't gotten state. So they don't care.
those 6 months, did you opt in to have your check mailed, or did you opt in to have a direct deposit, your tax refund?
Yeah, and I will admit I filed it late, okay, but everybody filed theirs late this year, so it's still 6 months.
Well,
Did you
good
get
news
an
is they will
extension?
pay you interest, right? Because if you pay them late, you have to pay them interest. So they'll
Point.
pay
That's
you.
why everybody does that, right? That's why everybody fills out their W-4.
I would
No.
strongly suggest you guys ask a lot of these nuanced questions, like if I do X, do I have to pay for Y, to an actual tax professional. Like, we can talk here, but please, like, when people are like, oh, don't take this as financial advice, that's one thing, but like, we are not tax advice.
Thank you. Yes, he is correct. Just to let you know, those 87,000 agents, if I get laid off, that's gonna be my fallback. I'll just apply for the
The
IRS.
IRS can come to my house and fucking find out if they want.
Did you see the training video that was released? I'm not entirely sure it was 100% true or if it was a parody, but that's how bad it was. It almost looked like it was a parody. But if it's true, then God help the U.S.
I hear you.
They weren't training the
Alexa, release
brightest
the
and greatest.
Alexa, release the Roombas with the claymores on top.
Oh, the guy was talking just a moment ago. Are you the one who's talking about how AMC or not AMC and Ape is going to be converging? Is that you? I thought I recognized the voice.
That's been my baby.
When do you think that's going to happen? Like where the prices will kind of come to meet in the middle. And then, again, not financial advice, just a hypothetical ballpark.
So first of all, don't worry about the not financial advice thing with me. This is financial advice. Go ahead, try to tell a court that I'm a fiduciary to some random person on the internet. Give it a try, see what happens. I'm sure your lawyer will be all about that. Anyway,
he's just cracking jokes, people.
It's no one, random dude on the internet. Come on, people. Anyway, serious note. I don't know when the date is yet because they haven't released it. What I do know is you have a very clear scenario where one asset is going to convert to another asset, and that asset is at a lower price than the other one, right? I view this the same way I view Twitter. Elon was going to buy it at $54.20, so when it wasn't $54.20, it was worth owning until it eventually got there. It'll have up days, it'll have down days, but at some point it will get to that price. So I'm just going to wait patiently. I'm sure AMC will take some hits, but I won't be shocked if this normalizes at like 225, 250.
Are you doing the same thing with ATVI and Microsoft?
I like the idea.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bag holder of AMC.
I'm not doing it with Blizzard Activision only because that has other hurdles. There's like a court case in the UK that they have to get through. This one is a little more clear cut. And also, I'm more confident in this one because I don't believe that a company takes on or gives out $110 million to AMC for Ape shares as collateral unless they're confident that those Ape shares are going up significantly and this vote is passing. And remember, that company has all those $110 million worth of voting power right now. So I'm very confident it's going to pass. I don't know if I'll stay in it until it passes, but I'm definitely going to stay in it for a little bit and see what happens. However, it's also a stupid play, and if it goes to zero, I won't be shocked.
So you're bullish on AMC, Red?
No, I am bearish on AMC. I think AMC is going to go down. I am bullish on... I don't want to say I'm bullish on Ape. I accept the reality that because Ape converts 1-to-1 to AMC, and because Ape shares hold equal voting power to AMC, that price needs to normalize. AMC is like $4, Ape is like $1.50. That's too far of a gap for something that's going to normalize.
Correct.
Well, it's going to cost Microsoft a hell of a lot less than $100 million to buy off U.S. and UK regulators.
The UK ones scare me because I don't know what the UK will do. Normally, I would say, oh, I'm sure they'll do something normal, but recently the UK has done their own thing, and so I'm staying out of that one for now. But I'm sure there's money to be made if you want to roll those dice.
So on the converting, that's something, and with this, I just don't know much about it except for my brother who's been in it forever. On the converting part, is for sure going to convert 1-to-1, or do they have to hold a vote on the Ape shares converting 1-to-1?
They have to hold a vote, but here's the thing. There are more Ape shares in existence than AMC shares. More importantly, if you own Ape share right now, unless you're like exclude like the hardcore devoted apes who have it, right? But if you're just you or me and we own Ape shares and they say, do you want this thing worth $1.50 to change into something worth $4? Who's voting no, right?
So I definitely agree with that. The reason I'm asking is, so my brother he's got in his head that it's going to go back to $100. He has, I'm almost positive, if I remember correctly, 10,000 plus shares. So he's So I've been trying to tell him to sell covered calls on AMC. He just won't for some reason, but he's convinced that AMC will still go up. But and I'm sure he's in a minority, but I don't believe that he would want to.
I think I get what you're saying. You're right. Your brother and people like your brother will want to vote no. What I'm saying is there's so many ape shares out there in the hands of people who aren't apes that it's going to severely overwhelm it. But the other side of it is events will happen that are going to make this change. When they say, hey, here's the date we're voting, I expect ape to take a very big jump that day because now we have a firm date. Now we know what's going to happen. Now we know that the gap is too big, right? I might just sell that. I might say, you know what, I don't need to see what the result of the vote is. It did a 50% because they said they're voting, and I'll leave. I'm going to leave when it's right. I just know that there are events that could make it right. But again, it's a stupid play because tomorrow he could just say, hey, we're actually releasing $1 billion in financing today. Sucks to suck. And we were never going to vote on ape. Good luck with that. So don't put a lot into it. But for me, there's money to be made.
Yeah, fair enough. And I agree with what you're saying. So I don't have any shares in AMC. I have a few of the ape. And the only reason I bought the ape is over Thanksgiving, my brother, we were just kind of just, shit talking, having fun. And it was, I said, you know what, fine, I'll join you in your stupid place. So I bought in, I think, 400 or 500 around, say like $1.10. And when it went down to like 70 cents a week or a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, that was dumb. Well, I ended up selling, I think 2/3 of them when it went up to like $1.70. So now what I have is just a free one. So I think I have maybe we'll say 100 shares ish. So, but they're completely free. So if I was given the option, if I got a vote, sure, I won't mind to equal the AMC price. I just don't know that he would, or people who are true AMC retards.
The apes won't want it to. I just don't think they have nearly enough vote. I think that $110 million worth of ape, that one transaction where they sold $110 million worth of ape at like 60 cents a share, is probably more votes than every single ape on Superstomp combined. And I'm probably going to now have a million haters messaging me about how wrong I am, and I'm sorry, but that's just, it's nothing personal to y'all, but $110 million of collected money is a lot.
So for the court record, I can say that a green reptile in a furry suit told me I should take my life savings and buy ape and just hold it, and it will at least double.
You know what? You go ahead and you go tell them. Let them know that, and you sue me for every penny I'm worth, and when you get back $350, you can remember that it was worth that legal battle.
No, and on that, I'm just joking on that part. And like I said, I agree with your statement that if I had a vote, I would want the ape shares to go up because I'm not invested in the AMC side. I'm just kind of curious on a timeline when. I'm still trying to convince my brother to sell covered calls and collect some premium back on his, because he's been holding it AMC since I think $17 to $19 range. But I can tell him to do it. I just can't make him understand to do it.
The answer for when is probably not for a bit, but sooner than you think. AMC needs to raise money. This is a $2 billion company with $5 billion of debt that they need to solve. And the only way they're raising money is if they convert ape, because they cannot issue AMC shares, but they can issue ape shares, and they can issue when ape converts to AMC, then they can issue shares. So this is a very financially distressed company that needs a way to raise money, and this is their only way.
I'm sure it's been asked and answered both times, but why didn't they try to raise money when it was, in the 20s or 40s versus now?
You mean AMC?
Yes, AMC, yeah.
They asked shareholders if they could do another round of raising, and the apes voted no. So they created ape shares and said, we can raise money with this, but this is something different. It's totally not AMC. And now they're finishing the phase of, oh, but wait, look, it is AMC, and we can still raise money. How funny. This is a complete screw over to everyone who's an ape. If you're an ape, the CEO of AMC essentially said, your MOAS is a joke. I'm going to dilute the hell out of you. And if you vote no, I'm going to find backwards ways to do it. You will never own the float, and I'm never letting your plan play out. Just be aware if you're an ape. That is what this statement is. And I understand that you might have this at a very high level, and it might be very painful to sell, but you have a CEO who's essentially saying, not only am I going to dilute you, I'm going to find new and exciting ways to do it.
In the beginning, if you had to say one share or 100 shares of AMC, did you get 1-for-1 of the apes, or how did that go?
It's a 1-for-1 conversion. If you have 100 ape, it will convert. So it will convert to 100 AMC, but then they're doing it.
I meant in the beginning, if you had AMC shares, did you get the ape shares?
Yes, it was a 1-to-1.
Okay.
But
so
again,
yeah, that is a huge dilution. Yeah, if you're a true ape, you should be pissed at that. I didn't.
I'm going to make a statement that's going to make me unpopular, and I'm sorry, apes. He's doing what's best for AMC, but what is worse for the apes. And unfortunately, right now, those two things do not line up. In order to keep that company alive, they need to raise a lot of money and release a lot of shares. That is not what the apes want, but that's what AMC as a corporation needs to do. And I'm sorry that it's that way. I want you guys to win. I am rooting for the apes.
I agree with
It
Red.
doesn't line up.
But isn't that what Ryan Cohen also did? He did what's best for Bed Bath and Beyond, but definitely rug pulled the investors or the stakeholders.
I think he did what was best for him at the end.
They have
the
a
last go-round.
responsibility to the company. And I know people say they have a responsibility to the shareholders, but the real answer is they have a responsibility to the business and to keep the business going and to keep the business solvent. And if that means that some of the shareholders have to take a little pain because there's a long-term plan, then that's what they will do to keep the company going, right? Like people say they answer to the shareholders. No, they answer to the board, right? I'm sorry that it worked out that way for you apes. And again, I hope you win. I hope I wake up tomorrow and AMC is worth $10 billion and you can all laugh at me and say that stupid reptile guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I want to be wrong.
Stupid reptile guy.
Yeah. Lizard people.
Just if you do hold AMC, I would strongly advise maybe reconsidering because yeah, there's going to be a lot of float that you're not going to own very soon. Unless you're confident that you and your buddies can raise $1 billion worth of dilution to soak up.
Well, I don't own AMC, but I'm debating, and it again, this is not. I would nowhere near, or let me rephrase that again. I wouldn't say to blame you or my brother, but I'm tempted to buy more of the ape shares just as a lottery ticket for a what if. If it's not that much, because I kind of agree with you that it has a good potential, but it could go shits up too. But if it does meet in the middle, that's technically free money, right?
The way I see it right now, it has $1.50 worth of downside per share, right? That's it. It can go to zero. And the upside is technically $4 to meet AMC, but I expect AMC pulls down. So probably more like $2.50. So I have $1.50 downside and like $1 upside. And there are worse plays than that for holding shares for a while.
Yeah, and I'm only down 49.4% for the year, so technically that's better odds than what I have been doing.
Are you bragging?
Slight brag. I was at 56%, and I've turned it around recently with Hardy's sell half on a double. So yeah, it's my epic comeback, bitches.
What's the point of selling if everything's down 90%, 80%, 40%? I mean, if you already rode that wave down.
It was calls that expired was the biggest chunk of my losses.
What's the point of selling when you're already down?
Yeah,
I like that.
No, if I could have held the shares, I would have. It was mostly calls that expired worthless.
Here's a little advice for you all. Some sage reptile words, and this is how it works in the reptile world. It might not work this way in the human world.
Okay. I guess his advice was to jump off.
Yeah, shares don't expire. Buy shares. I know.
What was your advice, Brad, before you decided to dip?
Totally call drop for a second. Anyway, so if you have bought a company, right, and you are in that company, and the price goes down, if nothing has fundamentally changed that makes you like that company, you should stick around. But if things have changed, then you should be more than happy to sell. If the only reason you're holding on is because price is red and I don't want it to be this red, then you need to bail, man. And I've heard a lot of people say stuff like that, like, I'm down 50%, but it's too painful to sell. And it's like, all right, so at down 75%, it's going to feel good?
I'm just saying it's probably near the bottom already. We've experienced a year of just downhill price. So that's what I'm saying. Why sell at the bottom? Maybe you can just ride it to the next wave to the top.
No, I've held that. Say if I bought shares, even though I bought some that's lost 60 or 70%. I still hold those. The losses that I've had has just been calls that have expired.
So that's just called tax loss harvesting. So that's a strategy.
So
I'm good for the next 12 years if anybody needs it.
So the thesis is Why sell at the bottom when you can sell at the bottomer?
Did you say bottomer? Why sell at the bottom when you can sell at the bottomer?
It's not going to go down any further. That's my intuition.
AMC
I don't know.
isn't going to go
Could be
down.
like WTI in 2016 that it went all the way to the negative.
AMC has plenty of listen. Ape permits them $1 billion worth of dilution if it converts. This is a $2 billion company. You are essentially saying a company that needs $5 billion worth of cash is able to do 50% of their current market cap in dilution. It can go lower.
Is your hatred because there's not equal representation of full-blooded reptiles in the Hollywood?
Just fucking
listen. My great grandfather had an amazing wrestling match with Captain Kirk that I'm sure many of you are aware of. So we're represented enough.
Ooh. Yeah, and according to the legends, if you go down the Grand Canyon, there's a cave system with Egyptian hieroglyphs and reptilian human hybrid skulls. So,
no, you don't want to go looking for that. There's nothing there. Stay away.
No, not at all.
Sacred ground to his people.
my favorite is when you have somebody who will watch a video with low resolution and starts glitching out, and then they think, "See, just see how they have the double eyelids right there."
I think we should start talking about
internet sucks.
chart analysis. Anybody got any TA analysis plays here? Technical analysis plays, anybody?
I ate all my crayons. The yellow ones taste like banana.
Yeah,
We have to
good play would be for
every
Krispy Kreme.
So has anybody checked out Nokia doing its dip back down to 466? I know I'm obsessed with this stock, but I just see it blowing up whenever things take hold with the Web3. It's at 466. I mean, these options on it, I've got a bunch of them for 450 right now, and it's for this week and next week. If this thing takes a bump back up to $5, I'm just wondering when it's going to blow, because they're going to provide a lot of hardware.
What ticker was that?
And okay. I mean, tax season comes around, they got to adjust themselves against the world scheme of things. I'd imagine that they're going to get valued up eventually here. I'm just preparing for it at this point. I have my eyes on things like that, CEI, things that have taken massive financial hits, but still are afloat. And cheaper stocks too. I want to be able to leverage so that whenever I buy something, it's going to multiply. I don't want to buy something at $100. That's why I stay away from blue chips most of the time.
Nokia's big thing is with 5G, right? If I remember correctly, isn't that like their big move?
Right. And Ericsson is probably going to be the biggest benefactor out of all of that. But at 466, and if you look at their financials, I mean, the last time I looked, they weren't doing badly.
Ericsson and Nokia aren't exactly direct competitors, if I recall. Nokia has a lot of 5G patents for more commercial applications, where Ericsson has their patents in a different area of telecommunications.
At the end of the day, from what I saw of what the Asian deals with European companies do, it's that Nokia would be a necessary component to the infrastructure building that would take place. And like I was saying, no, I agree with you. Ericsson isn't a competitor. I think they'd be the biggest benefactor out of deals that would take place. I just look at the stock at the valuation that it's at and say that's a real good way to make money whenever everything does take hold. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 months, but I do wonder about when people are going to jump in on some stocks that, like Nokia, they're tech and extremely undervalued.
I have both Ericsson and Nokia in my boom report, so I'm hoping that they go up. Basically, I invested in Nokia and Ericsson when Huawei was getting flack and being actively removed out of Europe.
I remember that.
Yeah, isn't a big part of Nokia's thing also and correct me if I'm mistaken, but didn't they pull their dividend a few years back? And a big thing has been a lot of their long-term investors are. It's almost like AT&T where they're like, "Where's my dividend?" and they want their dividend back.
Right on. I see. And that's what I'm saying. If with all the capital withdrawal has been taken out, stock float, I think it's an attractive midterm play. And this calls for 4 or 5 right now. It's practically the same price between this week and next week too. It just seems like something's in the middle there. But I have other targets right now. I see CEI, and I think that thing's going to take off. They're just waiting for this thing to do its reverse split. A lot of action on that this morning. I'm still going with shorts here for February. Short S&P, $18 call. I'm trying to get them at 10, but there's just the bottom on some of these things. The Macy's did not play out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm really hoping Nokia does a reverse split at some point. Their float is just way too big.
You really think that's going to happen though?
I'm hopeful, but I don't need it to happen, but that'd be nice. I am ready to hold Nokia for the next 10 years.
All right, I got somebody else on board for this one.
Anybody bought into Amazon shares simply because of their dividend announcement for long term? Anybody here? Just want to get your perspective on it.
I haven't grabbed any long-term tech things because I still do think we're going to get hit pretty hard with a recession type response next year. But I'm definitely looking at things like Amazon because there is going to be a point where that price is way too good. And it's starting to get there. A lot of these companies are down like 30% on the year. And yeah, they were overpriced, but these are all still legit companies.
Considering because of their dividend announcement that Amazon for the long term, obviously you said after this recession, so after this recession, whenever it ends or bottoms or whenever that is, are you considering ongoing extra long on Amazon because of the new dividend announcement?
If I think it's at a good price, yeah, I will put Amazon in a boomer account and I will just walk away because that's what people did in 09, right? They just put companies in a boomer account and walked away and it worked out fine. So yeah, that's definitely what you do.
But that's going to impact their growth if they're shelling out dividends, right?
I mean, do we think Amazon is a company that has financial issues? Like, do they not have the money to do the stuff they need to do, and that dividends going to impact it?
My question is, it won't grow as much since they're shelling out dividends compared to when they weren't shelling out dividends.
Well, what did you think about Jeff Bezos launching a rocket into space?
Say it again, bro.
It looked like a pee-pee.
Jeff Bezos.
I think any company that has excess capital that chooses to return it to their investors is making a smart decision in the long run, because now you're pulling in a market of, that boomer portfolio people who they buy it, they don't look at it, and they're just going to hold forever because they like their dividends, they like their AT&T, it stays where it's supposed to be, and it gives them money.
Yeah, exactly. This is how stocks are supposed to work.
God, please show me. No, Amazon's great. I mean, but they're going to dip lower, I think.
Yeah,
they announced the dividends.
I don't think that's I think the argument is it worth it to buy it now for the dividends?
Yes, thank you.
As they pivot out of a tech growth company and into more of a stable dividend, we're gonna start rewarding our investors and stuff. It's good.
Go up.
It's good. I just think I personally think it's a little bit early, but it's an obvious buy. However, I think you can get a better position if you just wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, they got 93% buy on Robinhood here for.
I think everyone and their mother is calling for a recession next year and positioning their own personal accounts for a recession. And remember, even if the economy doesn't necessarily justify one, the consumer can force a recession by just not buying anything, right? And I think that's what people are doing. And I think there's more downside to this market, because I think even if numbers come in good, people are just going to make there be a downside. They're just going to say, I'm just not buying things anyway. I don't care what the CPI numbers say. I'm just not going to buy stuff, right? So that's what I see coming.
Well, I mean, I don't see the volume of Amazon trucks that you did here a few months ago. I live in a pretty densely populated city too, with a lot of curves to it, and there is not the deliveries that there used to be at the same time. I don't know to speak of that, but
You don't even need to look. You don't even need the anecdotal evidence. The numbers are out. They did not. They did not do well with their delivery this Christmas season.
so we think they can dip lower them.
I think
Well,
the market's going to dip lower, and I think by its very nature, companies like Amazon will follow it.
consumer spending is just down.
That is true. Consumer spending is down. That's definitely going to impact things like Spotify as well.
Short term, Amazon's had quite a few issues. They had back was it last December, the tornado that took out a couple of warehouses. Then they've had issues with labor of getting people to show up in general, and then also the labor costs have went up. Long term, it will even itself out, but short term, I can see why they had a big miss.
You've gotten into Chinese stock.
I also think the consumer right now is more interested in experience than goods. People bought their new TVs and stuff over COVID. They couldn't go on vacations. That's what they want to do right now. If you have extra cash, you don't need to upgrade your TV. You did that already. You got the good couch. You got a better mattress over the COVID period. Now it's about stuff outside of the home that you want to do.
Well, you go from spending what you want to now spending what you need.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you when the last time was I spent money on a TV. That was 10 years ago, back in 2011, or 11 years.
So this is all your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. I'm sorry I don't buy a new TV every year. I rather go travel.
I think you bought calls and we just dipped after that.
Every Black Friday, man.
Wait. You haven't bought a TV since 2011, so you have like, what is your TV?
Actually, at the time, there's a Samsung HD smart TV when they first came out. So I paid like an arm and a leg for it. I paid close to like $1,100 for the TV.
Is it plasma?
No, it's a LED, 60-inch.
Shit, dude, you must have spent a fucking ton of money on that.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I paid an arm and a leg for it when they first came out. Well, then yet again, I was working in the oil and gas field before, so I mean, I was making pretty good money. I kid you not, dude. I haven't had any issues so far with the TV these past 11 years, and it's been holding on pretty good. And I've used the shit out of it for gaming, movies, and now I switched over to monitors to game. But yeah, dude, it's been holding on pretty strong. So I mean, I don't see any value in buying a new TV every year because I don't need it, honestly. Like I said, I'd rather spend my money on traveling. So,
Sir, what's the resolution on that TV?
I think it's 1080.
I forget the exact how long ago. It's been like 15, maybe 16, 17 years ago when DirecTV very first got their HD receivers. I paid $800, $900 just to get HD, and then found out I can only get my local. I couldn't even get like local channels so I could watch baseball or local sports. I can only watch. That was like 5 or 8 channels in HD. I was super tempted. And there was a no return policy. But the last time I bought a TV, I think was 2014. I don't even have a TV anymore. I gave mine away to my father. I don't even watch TV. I watch something I watch on a phone or a tablet.
You know, the only time I've used the TV to actually watch regular channels, besides like Netflix or whatever, was for the World Cup. That was it. Other than that, I haven't used the TV since then. Other than just like I said, either for Disney Plus or Netflix. So.
You mean you don't use a TV antenna?
I have the antenna, but like I said, I only used it for the soccer games. That was it.
All
Hey, those new HD antennas.
Antenna.
Yeah.
The HD antennas work very well.
Yeah, it's the HD antenna. But like I said,
No,
I don't use the TV for its actual purpose, other than just Netflix and Disney Plus maybe like once or twice a week.
So anyway, mainly my plays right now are Chinese stocks, cash, and shorting and puts because I am bearish.
You're shorting Chinese stocks?
No, I'm long
Puts on
Chinese stocks.
Samsung.
I believe China is going to go up, but I'm selling covered calls on the way up.
Did you get those Disney puts for all your Disney predictions?
I did. Yep. Might
So
even
wait,
get
is
some
there
today.
is there a particular sector that you have on that you're bullish in China or
EVs? EVs.
EVs? Okay. Can I, why? Maybe.
Because they're backed by the CCP and their outlook is really strong.
So when Elon stops production, not just Elon, other U.S. manufacturers stop production in China, does that impact your thinking in any way, or no? You're still
No, not
good to
really.
go?
They already have the infrastructure. They already have like a large market cap. They've just been beaten down so much because of COVID restrictions. So really, I'm just waiting for their stock to come back up to where it should be.
China's not reliant on exports to drive economic activity. I mean, it helps out a lot, but with the number of people there are companies in China. When I was in China, I did some marketing work for a company called Xiaoya. It's a company that I've never heard of it before in my life, and it's the biggest appliance manufacturer in the world. And they're just in China.
There's that.
But hey, so does rising interest rates,
But hold on.
does that affect?
Hold on. Wait. I just wanted to tack on to what Genome was saying real quick. Is that
Okay?
because China's a producer nation, they should be able to bounce back faster than other places because the supply chain starts with them.
I mean, that's good reasoning. Here's another one though. But rising interest rates, does that impact any of your EV stocks that you're bullish on for the long term?
Nope.
Do you think it will impact it actually?
Nope. Right now, the only thing that's really detrimental is chip manufacturing and all the drama that's going on with that.
Are you implying like Taiwan chip
Yeah.
manufacturing that's impacting? Okay, gotcha. Somebody trying to talk?
I got a meeting, sorry.
Saying here, it's that's why I opened up my Moomoo account and I flipped through, and they really do have a nice international bent. So this is going to be a fun little experience for me going in the new year. Looking at these Chinese stocks because they seem to be doing a whole lot better than they used to. Much more stable. You can see China less they used to.
Well,
Do
gentlemen,
they have instant deposits on Moomoo, or how long does it take to transfer the money over?
It's a deposits, but you got to apply for the Hong Kong and the Chinese part. But at the same time, I think you do have to exchange, on their. I mean, I'm sure you can go other ways if you really want to spend the money, but you do have to exchange on them for Hong Kong dollars or yen if you're going to buy.
Question on the guy who.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Maybe I find.
Question on the guy who had a lot of TVs. You said you had a 1080p. Don't you think it's time to upgrade to a newer model with better resolution and maybe throw that TV away? I guess he left.
I gotta get a new. Anybody got any recommendations? Looking to spend like $100.
Be careful around here. These rich people with their high bandwidth, people to get rid of 1080p. I will still watch YouTube videos 480 because of my cellular service.
If you want a good TV, wait like maybe another week or two. Go to your local Goodwill. They'll have like all of everyone's old, still good TVs that they upgraded over the holidays. You just go in there and be like, oh, hello, like 1.5-year-old TV that they couldn't resell that's now at Goodwill for like a quarter of the price.
Hey, don't, bro.
Or go to a pawn store for those that can't even afford their TVs anymore.
That's what I'm saying. You can get a $50 like 34-inch TV at a pawn store.
It's also a great time just after January, pick up exercise equipment at your Goodwill. They'll have like full on bench press sets because people will be like, "Oh, I tried, but then I got lazy."
That must be a big city you're living in. I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, all the time. There's so many weight sets when you get towards like February because people have all these fitness goals, and then they're like, "Oh, I can't do that because actually I don't move and I'm lazy."
It really says something about our society. You go straight to Goodwill instead of to your brother's attic or something.
But opinion, what is your thought on the current stance of things? How is the view from Canada?
Sorry, my thought on what?
You know what we've been discussing about market related topics.
He's asking how's your moose population over there?
Moose population is too far north for me to notice. But if you take a look at a map of what northern Canada is, it is like 90% of Canada. It is amazing that like so little of actual Canada is considered not northern Canada. I don't know. I was hearing you guys talking about TVs, 1080p's. Honestly, I was just listening, looking out for slurs. So
we've been discussing the shift in consumers from services, from products to like getting a new TV, blah blah blah, to now experiences that post-COVID people don't need to upgrade their TV. They've got one. They want to go to a concert because they couldn't do that during COVID. So their concert cash went to get a new mattress.
Well, my quick 2 cents on that is that I think people are definitely still spending on material goods. It's just what they're actually spending on is different. I mean, we each spend something like $1,000, or a lot of people spend like $1,000 to $1,500 plus dollars on a mobile device, and that money probably would have gone to a TV that would have lasted like 5+ years and been enough for the whole family. But now every single person in the family is replacing their phone every like 2 years. So I think people are definitely still spending on material goods. It's just where we're spending it is shifting.
Yeah, I don't include phones in that conversation. I meant more like other things. I think phones are something that the people who want the new iPhone get the new iPhone, and that will not change.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, TVs have been on the decline forever, though. So,
do you guys have television in Canada? Has that reached you all yet?
It has. Personally, I'm really excited for VR, though. Like, I think once VR kicks off, like, we'll pretty much get rid of our computers, our phones, our.
Really?
Yeah, like think about this. Imagine like why would you want like multiple desktop or multiple monitors, a big desktop, when you could just, plug in your VR and have like the optimal setup for a fraction of the price.
Like Ready Player One?
Yeah. Yes.
Like that Justin Timberlake song, dancing around, learning, moving shit all over the place, like hologram screens and all that. Are you talking like the whole deal, like Star Trek holodeck shit?
I need to walk away from my computer, but I think it's going to be contact lenses. I don't think it's going to be a headset.
Right.
I hope it's contact lenses.
They already exist. I mentioned the company, I can't remember what it is, but if you Google it, there is already a pair of contact lenses that is wired up to Alexa that you can build a list in your Alexa, and then when you go to the store, those contact lenses will show you what's on your list, so you can like buy shit based on what your vision tells you to buy.
Nice.
So I think the VR winner is going to be, I don't know who it's going to be, but whoever can solve the cyber sickness problems that people get. Because I know a lot of people who get incredibly nauseous after like 30 minutes of VR, and that is not going to fly.
True. And despite VR, despite computers, despite cell phones, we still have the pencil. The lowly pencil has not been put out of business by all this great technology that we've had. So I think I don't think computers like desktop PCs are going anywhere. I don't think phones are going anywhere. But there's definitely some opportunities to improve the state of the art in the VR technologies.
Well, I'm off to breakfast. Opinion, I think tomorrow, if Journalist is on, I'll hop in and say hello to my brother.
Oh, we'll see how long she lasts.
Opinion, can I make a request?
For
Can we
sure.
have it that like Journalist can be here, but he can't act like he is genetically superior to everyone present? Like that's the rule. Is he can be here,
He
but he
can't.
can't tell us
That's his
that he's
What if he's not
personality.
acting? What if he is?
I
Yeah.
don't care if he is. He just can't act so genetically superior. Like he was born into perfection, and how could we question it?
Well, I think he was born that way, and so I think it's gonna be really hard to get him to stop that.
Journalist has no flaws, bro.
Yeah, don't talk about my twin like that.
Well,
I will never forget when he didn't realize that U.S. election results wouldn't be out the same day as elections because it would take time to vote, even though it was like a major story. And he's like, "What the fuck? I had puts expiring today. I thought your elections would work." And it was my greatest moment on Reddit this year. I love every part of it.
It was amazing.
Yeah, we should have like a top 10 list. That and then when he said he should get paid for his DD, I thought that I just busted up laughing.
Also, his 300 followers. Very big deal, guys. He has 300 followers.
One of these days, I'm gonna do like either myself or like try and find or hire an editor to like go back through and like snip all of the best moments. And I think there's definitely gonna be a compilation of journalists doing journalist stuff.
Well, I'm sure he's already got all of his moments clipped. He probably masturbates to them.
All right, I'm off. See you guys.
And
that's why he goes, "Quick! I only got 3 minutes, guys. Gotta hurry."
That's a pretty plausible theory. But maybe on that note, we should end the call.
That's all right.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. We'll see you all tomorrow for our regular talk, and then Hardy is doing like an options Q&A kind of thing again. So I think he's already got a thread scheduled. So if you just want to go to that and like comment in it, I'm gonna sticky it in like a second. Then you can take a look at that. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and you can find all these talks on YouTube.
Have a great one.
You
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, lads. Bye.